are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 129. Oh, golly.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that is reasonably sure Malcolm Dragon does not have scales. My name is Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olsen.
And I'm Mark Welser, returning again.
It's always good to have you, Mark. Wait a
I
minute.
feel like I'm in the Five Timers Club now.
Hold on. What's this I'm seeing? Coming in hot
What's happening?
with a steel chair.
Oh my
What
God.
is this? Oh my God.
Oh my
Can it
God.
be?
No.
Can it be?
Can you smell what the Raven's cooking?
Holy shit.
That euphemism for taking a dump.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
It's Raven.
You deserve it.
There
You deserve it.
It's the return of the king.
Welcome, guys. It's so
Raven,
good
we
to be
haven't-
back.
We have not heard your voice in several centuries.
Listen to that sweet, sweet voice.
My dulcet tones.
Dulcet's a good
Thank
word
you.
for it.
It's good to be back, guys. It's good
That
to
or
be
sultry.
Yeah, everybody put a napkin down on your seat so you don't slide off of it when you hear Raven's voice.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, welcome. Thank you for the welcome, guys. It's good to be back. Thank you, Mark Welser, for holding down the fort. I'm gonna say it right now, baby. You're part of the family.
Yeah.
You weren't keeping my seat warm. You're part of the crew.
Yeah, when we get to episode 200, we'll definitely have you back for a mini interview like last time.
He's like,
He's like, scratch that.
No, but it's good to be back, dudes, and I love listening to the show as a listener. I'm glad I wasn't here when Augie was on because I think he was ready to cut my throat.
Now, when you listen to it and you're not on it, are you yelling at us too?
Absolutely,
Good.
absolutely, dude. You guys will
You
say
fucking
something.
morons. How do
my
you not
God.
know?
My God, come on, guy. Did you even read?
I'm always the smartest one when I'm not on the show.
Yeah.
What's funny? It changes, doesn't it? When you're
But
actually
then, yeah. But then Mark's on the show and he's like, don't ask me about any of the guys I drew. I don't know their names.
They don't have any. I mean, you can ask me about it, but you're probably not going to get an answer.
No, it's great to have you back, Raven.
That's podcast Mark versus
Thank you, sir.
listener Mark.
Right. Listener Mark's a genius.
Listener Mark is honest to God like one of the most like I think he knows this shit better than Erik. Like so
Yeah.
goddamn much, like an infinite wealth. And like I said, you put a microphone in front of Albert Einstein and he's gonna turn into fucking Forrest Gump.
Now, if he only would have
3?
used that for things like trigonometry and geometry and shit like that.
Right?
Well, we can all agree that Gavin still out-nerds everybody.
Yeah.
But I show up.
Ooh.
Well, it's good to be back, guys.
Well,
Let's get into it.
How
get-
long have you been gone? It's like
I've
been a
gone.
year.
It's been a year. It's been a year. I survived a chemical explosion, so pretty good. Feeling good. The East Palestine chemical explosion tried to take me out. Didn't work. I lived. So here I am.
Well, you know, in terms of if you were going to pick a year to leave the podcast, it's probably a good year because we got, 4 issues?
4 issues.
You were there for a couple of them, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to, brag, but I pretty much told Erik, don't you dare. While I'm gone, slow it down, big guy.
Just told him
Thanks,
to put
dude.
it on pause.
Yeah. I told him, and he said, I can't promise anything, but okay.
That was very nice of him.
Yeah. Well, we're homies. He responds to my DMs, just like with the scene. Like, we don't need to talk.
Just know that he read it.
Yeah, just to see that he saw it. And I don't even need a reply. It's like, yeah, we know. We got this nonverbal thing. It's cool. It's all good. So, yeah, we're tight like that. And I said, no more. Take it back. Roll it back, big dog. No more. Let's take this back to the publisher years. And he said, okay. So, it's all good.
Wish granted.
Sorry for everyone who wasn't me, but for me, it was great. Like 2023 was a great year, so for Savage Dragon. Oh my God! Do we have news?
We have a tiny bit of news. Nothing in terms of like covers or about the book specifically, but apparently Malcolm Dragon is showing up in the latest issue of Killadelphia. I think it's issue 32. I honestly forgot to check.
It's now 33.
33. I think he was teased at the end of 32, and his full issue is 33.
Yeah, the arc started in 31, and it's like a Spawn Savage Dragon arc in Killadelphia, which is like a vampire horror series.
Yeah, I'm not reading it, so I honestly don't really totally know what the premise is.
I suggest, if I may, I know that I've just got back, but allow me to restructure the show. I think we should call this section Shilladelphia, because I think we have two people who did read that issue, don't we?
I flipped through it.
I also flipped through it
counts.
just to see the pictures.
Still counts. Mark, I thought I heard you say you read it.
I did read it, yeah.
Why don't you fellas get into it on a very special episode of Shilladelphia?
I want to start off and say that I really like the artwork.
Okay. What do you like about it? If there was a famous 1990s Marvel comic artist you could compare it to, who would come to mind?
Well, I feel like the name Mark Texeira jumps out at me. Am I pronouncing that name correctly? Texeira?
I think yeah.
Texeira?
Who's Mark?
Teixeira, however you want to say it with a little...
Tex. It's M-Tex.
M-Tex.
I think
it's Tex, right?
I think he just signed it.
It's just the English way to say it, but yeah, probably the Spanish or Portuguese way would be Teixeira.
Well, all right. Sorry.
Yeah,
well, no.
Okay. Whatever. I don't think you are.
That's high praise. We all loved his art, so that's high praise. That's not said in jest. Like, and
Art's
I will
great.
say that the guest cover that he did on Savage Dragon was good. Like, I loved it.
Also good. Yeah.
So the art's good, but it's kind of weird. I feel like you left a crucial element out of your review.
Like the panel-to-panel storytelling was also very good. The coloring was nice.
Keep dancing.
It's a very dark comic. It's very much like a Spawn horror type comic, like vampires and werewolves.
I saw a topless nudity.
Ooh.
I
just got my interest piqued.
I don't read Killadelphia, so I'm trying not to judge the book as a whole. Right. I'm coming in on issue 33. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I don't know who these characters were or what their relationship with each other was or what even the premise was in the world. That's my fault because I haven't read the first.
Yeah, this is some. Well, and this is also the third issue in a story arc, so they did set stuff up.
Right.
In issue 31, which I read, but I'm still lost, like I would be in anything that I came in late.
If anyone was longing for the days of when Malcolm was a cop,
this is Chicago cop era Malcolm, which is odd, very odd.
It just feels like the author doesn't really know the source material that well. Right, we talked about, I guess, before the show started. I think he says, something about Malcolm commenting on something about his scales.
Yeah, he doesn't scales.
And also, he doesn't really even sound like Malcolm, really, which is.
I didn't think it was that horrible, but I don't know. It's not that bad, but it's
it seemed like he was kind of a cross between Malcolm and the original Dragon and what people's perception of Savage Dragon is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Should we spoil the ending of the issue?
Yeah, that's what people are here for.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, spoil it.
Well, because the end of the issue actually ends with Malcolm meeting his dad in the afterlife, I suspect, unless it's a demon trick, which is also possible based on the context.
Yeah, which I'm guessing is something to that effect.
Some trickery.
Yeah, or he's just seeing him in whatever, the afterlife, because there's a lot to do with hell, and like the 2 issues before this is a lot to do with like demons coming up through hell and references to Malbolgia and
that explains why Spawn is here. Okay,
exactly. So yeah.
Is it crazy? Is it crazy that I would say still easily, hands down, the best Malcolm Dragon era comic that didn't come from Erik himself was Nancy in Hell?
That's pretty nuts, but you're right.
Yeah, there's just not a lot out there with Malcolm in it.
But I also
remember anything that happened in that book. I remember reading it, but I don't remember it.
The cool thing about that was Debbie's mom was in it, and she was kind of like
Fiend.
Yep,
yeah.
Fiend was like the bad guy in that, I think.
Which is kind of cool because it tied it in.
I vaguely recall, I think Erik may have helped with dialogue in that one, or at least Malcolm dialogue, which might explain why it was a little better or a little more, more enjoyable.
The team on Nancy in Hell or whatever, they're not English. What is it?
No,
English,
they're like Italian, right, or something?
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They're
Native.
like filthy foreigners.
Right, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just like the guy
No one's gonna
colors
get mad
Savage
about
Dragon.
That. Right? No one's gonna get mad about that.
No, but I mean, I can see why they would need to have some help with the dialogue because maybe English isn't their first language.
No, well, I'm just saying, like, remember way back when there was the Hellboy Savage Dragon crossover? Mignola came in and helped do Hellboy's dialogue in that because to get the voice right. I think it's hard. It's
hard to have somebody else write your character and then have it be completely wrong. And I think there was a problem like that when Erik was doing Spawn with Todd too, and he would do the dialogue.
Right.
Like, my characters don't talk like this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Todd would rewrite it and it would sound wrong. And add captions.
You got Malcolm being like, "Oh, geez, I really would like this Spawn NFT. Maybe Aunt, you could come by. It's like a digital physical toy. It's cool.
Here comes Rutabaga Man, Bob."
Maybe that was what was wrong with the dialogue.
It's too Canadian.
Too Canadian.
Another filthy foreigner.
Another filthy foreigner.
We gotta close the borders, our northern borders, so that these people don't keep. This is what the show is now, Raven. This is what it's turned into.
My first clue is when Craig praised Ted Nugent off the air. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Now let's be fair. He praised the early music, which is different.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't want anyone to think that joke was that he likes that.
Right.
I'm now getting anthrax in the mail.
It's
and
unfortunate.
Then for 10 minutes, he was talking about how the vaccine doesn't work and how the whole thing was planned, and it was.
Even I like some Erik Clapton songs, and it just can't be helped.
So that's Killadelphia, guys.
I was going to say, and this concludes a very special episode.
Though
Philadelphia.
It is cool that there is a crossover. Like I do think that's neat. I will buy it. I might, I'll read the whole arc and judge at the end. But
sure.
I mean, right now it's a little shaky, but
it's a curio.
I'm happy to see Malcolm.
I guess that's what I always want to know. And you two that read it, chime in here. Do you think, as a Savage Dragon fan, it's a must-own, or is it not necessarily that?
No, I would say no.
I don't think it's a must-own.
I think any kind of like crossover that's a must-own has to kind of like tie in with the book, or at least have more than just like the main character. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the like a villain or something else that shows up.
Right. At least Nancy in Hell had the villain, and okay, that's the end of my sentence.
And I'm done. Well, geez, that was the news, right?
Yeah, I just did we ever talk about the hack/kill your idols one shot? Did
we
talk about
did
that last time?
not. Although I think we've been delayed so long, we did talk about it when it was running in the Image anthology.
I will say that I remember Craig talking about it while it was happening.
Yeah.
But since I have been back, there is the development of the collection.
Right. Is that out, or is that just solicited?
No, so that's coming out, I think, in April. And that's basically the collection from the Image anthology. I think it ran for like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 chapters, probably 6 chapters or something like that. And it was Tim Seeley, who's a huge fan of, the Savage Dragon comic, and it shows, and I think all early Image in general. And he has his hack/characters kind of face off against a bunch of them, like Super Patriot, the Bloodstrike guys, Shadowhawk.
Basically,
maybe somebody else.
I think they're mostly like, it makes sense. I think they're all like undead, or could be considered as such, because they're all zombies. Not zombies. What am I saying? They're like resurrected or cyborgs.
Right.
I think that's
which were all tied in the early 90s too.
Yeah.
Except for
Cyber
Shadowhawk.
zombies.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with Shadowhawk on the cover. I think Shadowhawk's got some funky like resurrection stuff going on, but I don't know Shadowhawk well enough to be sure.
Yeah.
No one knows Shadowhawk. It's okay.
Well, I'm looking forward to this because I never read that Image anthology, so it'll be nice to have that stuff in one.
Yeah, it's the art's pretty cool too. It's good.
Yeah, it is nice when they collect this stuff into like its own one shots. Like the Massiverse did the same thing for the story about what's his face.
What's his name? Slide or something? I don't know.
Something like that. The name is escaping me.
They also did it for the Dutch series.
Craig, aren't you a big Local Man fan?
Yeah, I do enjoy Local Man.
I'm enjoying Local Man as well.
So that Tim Seeley guy, you could say he's definitely into that early 90s Image stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. It's so cool. Like, he does that on there, and he also does kind of like the news that, not a letters page, but like a news page inside Local Man that kind of mimics the 90s look of Image.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, that comic in particular, though, is very much referencing that era, like in its dual narrative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a washed-up hero that was like a 90s superhero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
He was on a
Seeley.
young blood-like team. Yes, Seeley has done a lot of good comics in the last... Actually, it's kind of weird. He's kind of blown up in the last 2 years. Like, I knew his name from Hack Slash, but I didn't really read any of his comics. And all of a sudden, there's like 5 I'm reading right in the last 2 years.
Money Shot, ironically.
I remember him from He-Man comics. He did some He-Man comics. And I think even back when there was the Classics line, he designed a character that they made a figure out of.
Shit.
Yeah, he's a huge He-Man
He's a
collector.
big He-Man guy, yeah.
I have like a big hardcover book that he put out through Dark Horse. It's like the art of He-Man, like all the old like packaging and stuff. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's like a massive He-Man fan.
Yeah, he's a big Masters guy. So I was talking the other day about how I haven't been reading any of the new He-Man stuff, and people are like, oh, Tim Seeley's writing it now, so I want to check that out because I from what little stuff I've read of his, I've always liked his work.
This concludes our section, Tim Seeley.
It was, yeah.
No, that's good. It's good news. It's funny, little insider baseball listeners, we didn't have that article. Craig totally just pulled that out of his hat like this just in. Oh, wait a minute, this just in. Exactly. Top of the hour. Tim Seeley's one-shots are being collected into a trade.
Oh, yeah.
Get it while it's hot. Super Patriots in it.
I forgot. Seeley wrote that Core series that Corey Hampshire drew back in like the early aughts.
Did Corey Hampshire draw that?
I think it was. I think he's credited on it. Looks like he's the artist on that. Although, I think, was Seeley the writer or was he the... Oh, okay. If these credits are correct, he was actually the penciler.
Yeah,
and Corey inked it. All right, so he was actually part of the art team on it. Never mind.
That makes sense.
But yeah, Seeley did start out as a kind of an artist, didn't he?
He also did that. What was the other one? Like Bunny girl and something that crossed over with Savage Dragon.
Love Bunny and Mr. Hell.
Yeah.
There was a Savage Dragon crossover there too.
Yeah, the cover was just like a reused Savage Dragon cover.
Yeah.
And it even was photoshopped to look like they were taped on his back.
Yeah, yep.
It was funny. It was good stuff. Completionists have that issue. If you don't, you're a fake fan.
Fake fan.
Real fans got the Love Bunny and Mr. Hell one shot. What up?
All right.
It does have an Erik Larsen cover. Ugh.
Yeah. Shall we do some? I feel like we got some mail, didn't we?
A little bit of mail. We got a email and we got a comment. So
it's good to know that hasn't changed.
Who wants to Raven, you volunteer being freshly returned. Your throat is healthy. You're going to take on this email.
Yeah.
You and your healthy throat.
Yeah, I got a big one for you. You guys ready? You ready for a big one?
A big one for your healthy throat?
Because my throat's ready for a big one. Hello, Jim, Craig, and Mark. Ouch.
Especially not Raven.
That hurts. Been an avid listener of your podcast since the beginning. What, of 2023? Anyway. Been an avid listener of your podcast since the beginning and reader of Savage Dragon since the 90s, and I wanted to weigh in on the FINteresting Conversation and the previous wedding issue.
Hold up.
Villain or
Hold up. Sorry, I did not want to cut off the email, but I just thought of something. Raven, do you have an answer for our FINteresting Conversation before all the good ones get taken?
He doesn't even remember. He's even listening now. You're putting him on the spot.
What is it? Go ahead and bring me back up. Yeah.
The question was, what Savage Dragon villain did you think was the most effective? Or
effective in terms of, was that defined like good at killing?
Well, not just good at killing. Like they were the most villainous. Like they actually achieved their goals, or got close to it. Like the most effective, or not your favorite villain, and not like. I guess the actual question is who's the best villain, and like
who's the best?
Who's the best in terms of like ability and like skill and like.
Like, listen, dude. Like, I mean, it's got to be Glum. I hate to say it, but like, motherfucker, like smashed the universes together. I mean,
okay.
He did what like no other. All right. Glum fucked this book like no other villain has or will, probably.
More than the book.
Very true.
Yeah. He smashed all the realities together, and now everyone remembers.
More than the realities.
Yeah. So
stop sandbagging Craig and his sex jokes.
So yeah. No, plus he became truly despicable, I would say. Like, I think a lot of villains, like, you kind of also, like, Overlord's kind of cool. And, like, Dart is, like, completely psychotic. But, like, it's like Glum is truly despicable. Like, he makes me borderline uncomfortable. He's a little bastard. And just when you think that turd's flushed, it pops back up.
He won't stop coming back. All right. Sorry for the interruption, emailer. Raven, you may now continue.
Quite all right. Let's see. The villain or villains, I think, that have succeeded are Solar Man and Emperor Kerr. After Solar Man was blinked back into existence, he quickly got to work deglumming the planet, defeating Universo, and then proceeded to kill all criminals. If Rex and Shadowhawk didn't release the old school heroes from his siphon prison, he'd still be fixing this world. Then, after some more thought, I figured Emperor Kerr was more successful, because he not only defeated and killed all his opponents, but he conquered the world. Until Dragon time jumped and shot himself in the back of the head. Speaking of Kerr killings, why is Glum back? After reading issue 267, I was overall not impressed. The flashbacks were too long. Malcolm was a jerk. Maxine was completely inappropriate. As always, it is getting tiresome. Oh my God. Dear writer, what you guys? This was like a trick getting me to read this. And I was expecting a classic style comic book twist. Shocker on the page turn after the vows. Instead, we get another. Maxine was completely inappropriate. I fucking jumped the line there. Sorry, guys. We get another completely inappropriate sex scene that has become an unwarranted repeating scene in this comic, in my opinion. Oh, Jesus. I get it. If this is someone's first issue, they have to get caught up with the Frank Jr. Angel dynamic. But where were the footnote boxes referencing when these scenes happen in or in between previous issues that would have also piqued new readers' interests? And maybe Malcolm was just ribbing Frank like friends do, but the glummening of Frank was terrible in my opinion. Mr. Glum has had some interesting adventures and story arcs over the Savage Dragon comic book and had an almost heroic ending in 225 where he helped defeat Dark Lord, then faked his death. But this current return just makes him creepy, again, in my opinion. Erik has created some amazing, mind-blowing, and eye-pleasing villains in this book. Overlord, Mako, Powerhouse, Scourge, the Seeker, just to name a few. And maybe the last two should have returned instead of Glum. Or, as Craig and Mark stated, make a new adversary. I am getting tired of sex-crazed Maxine. And then the reader says, sex scene. I love it. The hate, dude. And the lack of recurring comic book antagonists for Malcolm in this comic book. But I will continue to purchase and read Savage Dragon because I am a fan of Mr. Larsen. And who knows what the next issue will entail. Considering the covers don't help and the solicitations are super vague. Finally, quick suggestion. Last episode you mentioned you have a lot of emails. What if you did a mailbag episode of the podcast where you read and or catch up on all the emails? Maybe call it the Savage FINcast, or a more clever, better name than that. Again, just a suggestion. What did you guys say? You lied. You lied the last issue.
One episode we had like a crap ton of emails.
Okay. All right.
But that was very rare.
Thank you for this enjoyable podcast, Travis. P.S. Thanks for the heads up about Mark's Gods of Brutality Kickstarter that I supported to get that trade. In a previous podcast, Mark mentioned in passing he has a few extra Dragon Your Ass political bumper stickers, and I would love to own one. Would he be interested in parting with one? At what price? Thanks again. So we don't have to put Mark on the spot here, but I just want to say, Travis,
why don't you hook a brother up, dude?
Travis, thank you for writing. I am joking, on your opinions and stuff. It's all good. It's always good to hear the opposing views and things on this stuff. And this is a perfect place to say congratulations to Mark Welzer on his Gods of Brutality Kickstarter.
Well, thank you. It's me and Rich Woodall also. It's not just me.
No.
But, in fact, Rich did most of the work.
I'm just teasing.
No, it was successful though, so everyone that orders is going to get the trade.
Yeah, I hope Travis likes his book. I hope everybody else likes it. As far as the bumper stickers, I don't even know where they are. I know I had some at some point.
I have one, and I forget who gave it to me. Someone really nice gave it to me. I should be ashamed of myself for not remembering.
Let's be real here. I think what needs to happen, FINcast listeners, is someone who owns one needs to get a high-resolution scan online so that people can just bootleg their own.
There you go.
I don't think Erik will give a fuck. I don't think he's ever going to make any more Dragon Your Ass bumper stickers. I get the feeling that it's probably okay.
And here's the other thing. You can change the year on it so that it is relevant every election.
There you go.
Well, that would just be the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Make America green again.
Ooh.
Of course, everybody knew Craig was going to say something like that.
Craig Nugent.
Right.
Oh, dude, thank you, Travis, for writing. We do appreciate you writing in, even if you're wrong about Maxine.
Hey, do we have a interesting conversation? Oh no, we have another letter, right?
We got a comment on the YouTube video. Craig, you can read that if you'd like.
I don't have it in front of me. So
all right, then I'll read it because I like to. All right, so Greg Aubrey wrote, for me, the most effective villain of Savage Dragon was Kerr when he resurfaced in the 150s. He took out the entire human population and was only stopped when Dragon and Dark Lord went back in time and ambushed him. So yeah, it's basically the same justification as the previous email. It's just Kerr did conquer the world and kill literally everybody. He only got stopped because of shenanigans. Because you can't stop a bullet that's coming back in time at you.
Dark Lord said though that like they didn't stop shit, so like Kerr succeeded.
Yeah.
All that happened is we just got to keep reading the book in a different timeline.
Yep.
I do like the fact that, you know, the hero is also the worst villain in the book. I like that thought.
It's much like my life.
Well, it's always nice to hear from Greg Aubrey.
Yep.
Long-time Savage Dragon fan.
Long-time Savage Dragon fan. Some people remember him as Magic Boy Shard on the Savage forums. Was his username.
Wait a minute. You gotta say that again.
What? That his old username was Magic Boy Shard?
Seems vaguely familiar.
I know it's not Sailor Moon, but like I feel like it's Sailor Moonish. Magic Boy. That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
It was a comic that he was making. But Greg's got some fan art in the Desperate Times trade paperback.
Ooh.
If anybody has that.
Greg's a talented musician too, so all around that kid is an unbeatable, handsome lad. Wish him nothing but the best. Keep writing in, Greg.
He's too handsome.
Greg used to put on free concerts during COVID. He used to watch him play. That was cool.
Yes. Yeah. Remember when the world united for like 1 week and everybody was doing things to like help each other and here's all these free things because everyone's trapped inside. And then like 2 weeks later, everyone was like, I hope everyone else dies. I can't wear this mask.
That was weird. I remember Craig just complaining about how he wanted a haircut and they need to open everything back up and put the kids back in schools and the masks don't work. Do you remember that, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Everyone's going to think I'm like a MAGA weirdo at the end of this podcast. Mission accomplished, guys.
I don't know why they would think that at all.
Listen, here's the thing. Anyone who thinks that, guess what, folks? It's all been fake news all along. That's not how Craig is at all. Fake news. Hey, what is our new FINteresting Conversation, Jim?
I have no idea. I didn't.
What is
we didn't talk about it.
This one might be a little lame, but since we don't have anything and we've been talking about crossovers, like based on like what's out there now, would there be a good crossover for Malcolm to have?
Yeah.
Or either Malcolm in another book or another character in Savage Dragon that would work well.
I see what you're saying. Like any Savage Dragon character, where could they cross over?
Yeah, either in a book or a character or someone else's character coming into Savage Dragon. Like what kind of crossover would work well?
Okay.
Can I throw mine out first?
Well, you're the guest, Raven, so go ahead.
Demoted, a lowly guest. I'm like Simon Malik St. Pierre.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, goodness.
Well, you had to drag him in. That was rude.
Oh, what do you care? What do you care, Craig? I'll be gone. In another episode. Don't worry. No, spoiler alert, okay? Spoiler alert for the new Scott Pilgrim. If you haven't heard it, skip ahead. I'm just going to say this for 30 seconds, and then you can skip ahead, and there'll be no spoiler. But in the new Scott Pilgrim, they open up the concept of multiverses. And I know that Erik had said he didn't want to do anything Scott Pilgrim related because, quote, Scott Pilgrim is its own perfect little world. I wouldn't want to mess with that. However, thanks to the new Brian Lee O'Malley written Scott Pilgrim Netflix show, that's out the door. So you could do your Savage Dragon Scott Pilgrim crossover. You're not fucking anything up. So fucking go for it. Boom, bada bing, bada bam. Let's do a Scott Pilgrim Savage Dragon crossover. Get it out there.
Just send Maxine there. She'd probably fit right in.
She would fit right in, dude. Are you kidding? Like, imagine Maxine drawn just a little bit like Knives, but just as sexually active as Wallace Wells. You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
He's getting around.
It's a good one. I wasn't even thinking that.
Leave it.
That's mine.
Leave it to Raven to find the outlier.
Well, go ahead, guys. But I mean, top me.
This is selfish, just because this is what I would want to see.
No, do it.
But now that Transformers is being published through Image Comics, through Skybound, Robert Kirkman's thing, can you imagine Savage Dragon beating the shit out of Decepticons?
I can now with Daniel Warren Johnson art.
With Daniel Warren Johnson
that would be
art?
cool.
Because I remember they crossed over with Spider-Man when Marvel was publishing
Yep.
Transformers books.
Technically,
Yes.
Transformers was in the Marvel universe when it was at Marvel.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a DWJ Super Patriot.
Oh my God, yes, dude.
Yeah. All of that stuff.
Dude, it writes itself. Can you imagine like Super Patriots getting his shit kicked and like they fucking stuff like, I don't know, Cybertron or whatever in his fucking chest and he just becomes a car?
No, Super Patriot fits in perfectly.
It's great. It's great, dude. Yeah, good one, Mark. I'd fucking
Gears
pay.
loses an arm, and now Super Patriot's his arm now.
I love it. Then like Super Patriot rips his head off like one of the headmasters.
All right, let's not get ridiculous.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, again, a little too excited.
Raven, settle down. It's not that kind of show anymore.
Guest Raven. Things have changed.
We keep it realistic, huh?
You forgot to go over the rules.
Yeah.
We don't get loud on this show.
All right.
Try to keep your cursing to a minimum.
Oh no.
No sexual talk.
So I shouldn't say pussy fart.
And no mocking the listener letters.
What? What happened? I feel like they retconned my reality. All right.
What do you got,
about
Jim?
Craig and Jim, do you guys?
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about it while you guys were talking, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of drawing a blank. The only one I can even think of is to have Malcolm and Miles Morales meet.
Ugh.
I know, Raven, I know.
Feisty Raven.
But it's
No,
just,
I know how it would read.
Come
They
on,
wouldn't do
man.
it. They wouldn't do anything. No, listen. Can I just say that I think it would be awesome too, but I feel like they would. If it's handled by Erik, it'll be
Wait,
great.
you felt like it would be awesome too, but you just went, ugh.
he just knows that Marvel would not allow anything daring to happen.
That's it. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim literally just said that was what the ugh was. Is Marvel wouldn't allow anything daring to happen.
There'll be no threesome with Miles, unfortunately.
Him and Gwenpool and not Gwenpool. Well, maybe Gwenpool. She's a Gwen too. Yeah, bring her in. Bring her in. Why not, right? The two Gwens. There's Spider Gwen and Gwenpool and Miles, and then like Maxine's filming. Let's make this. You guys wanna
Let's make
The
this.
only benefit from teaming up with Miles Morales is it would maybe get more eyes on Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
Let's be real. They would see like Angel in this issue and just nope out.
See, I would, my other thought was maybe having Malcolm show up in the Massive Verse, like with Radiant Black and Rogue Sun. But the thing is, that part of the Image universe, I don't know how well it meshes with like the other superhero stuff. You'd think it would mesh easily, but honestly, at this point, it's kind of been its own corner for so long. I don't even know if they acknowledge other superheroes except for that one reference in Radiant Black.
Well, you could always have them visit the Savage Dragon book and do like Erik does. It's just kind of like an alternate reality, you know?
Yeah.
The character, like Invincible, would show up in Savage Dragon, and it doesn't really mean that it had to happen in their book.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually
Wait a
come up.
minute.
I usually come up with like. I always am thinking about crossovers and stuff, but for some reason I'm just kind of blanking right now on like who would be like a really good fit. So I'm
hold
really
on
failing
here.
this
That's
one.
because you want to say Judge Dredd.
Well, here's the thing. Judge Dredd's another character that is kind of iffy when it. See, with Judge Dredd, I would want him to cross over with Captain America. That's my dream Judge Dredd crossover.
Oh.
Honestly, is a Captain America Judge Dredd comic. I did have a fan plot for Dragon and Dread, but honestly, it's a pretty basic one. It's pretty much he's a freak, and so Dread's gotta kill the mutant. It's not much of a story. I'll be honest. It was much better when I did the amalgam of Judge Dragon for that one.
Well, maybe Malcolm would just become a judge since he loves being a cop so much.
He does apparently love being a cop so much.
Yeah.
It's his defining trait, Malcolm Dragon.
Easily what you would say. And listen, I just want to say this real quick. Jim, it's your pick. So in your version, is Erik handling the book or is Marvel? Because that makes all the difference.
It does, and yes, I would rather, of course. I mean, it's Erik, and he has Spider-Man experience, so who else?
I don't think Eric's done Miles Morales, has he?
He is not. He didn't. No, he has not.
So it would be a win for both fans because you'd have this legendary Spider-Man artist doing the hot new Spider-Man, and you would have Savage Dragon fans getting, their, oh my gosh, he crossed over with a big character.
He's doing Spider-Man again, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be win-win. I mean, here's the thing: is if Erik's doing it, I'm into it.
Oh, yeah. Has Erik ever drawn him as a convention sketch or anything? Has anyone?
I don't think so.
I've never seen
Not
it.
that I remember.
I can't think of one that I've seen.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
You know what? I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have said Miles Morales. I should have said Static Shock.
That's a good one.
I think Jim's had like 6 guesses now.
Yeah, sorry. I do this all the time.
You fucking cheater.
I take everybody else's. All right, Craig, before I take them all, who's yours?
This is kind of an easy one, but since I'm reading it and I like it, I think Local Man would be a perfect fit. It could be he teamed up with the original Dragon and now he's teaming up with the Sun.
Well, it was mentioned in that I believe Dragon was mentioned in that Local Man Gold one shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I know that I forgot that seemed like that was solicited so long ago. I totally forgot about that.
You forgot about it? You really need to read it.
It came out already?
Oh, it's out. It's been out. It's 2 issues ago.
The goal. Oh, I guess I just didn't get it. It's not. It's like a one shot, right?
It's a one shot, but it does tie in slightly with the plot. So if you've missed it but not noticed, it probably didn't tie in as strongly as I thought.
I guess my shop didn't save it for me.
But
this is the true comic shop experience.
But
yeah, lame. I guess I'm gonna have to get it.
I am pretty sure there are references to Larsen characters in this book.
I guess I'm gonna have to get on eBay. That's a bummer.
Yeah, you should go get it ASAP because it's good.
That's very FINteresting, guys. Good ones.
But it did not have a full blown crossover yet, so it's still open for a future thing.
This says crossed over with Cyberforce, Street Angel, Love Everlasting, and Boof and the Bruise Crew.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The deepest cut.
The deepest. First cut is the deepest.
My God, dude, Boof.
Somebody's got a reference.
Doesn't that mean? I was gonna say, doesn't that mean something horrible now? I don't want to Google it, but I think it does.
Wait, hold on. You don't know what Boof and the Bruise Crew is?
No,
I
the
know
word
what Boof
Boof.
and the Bruise Crew is.
Okay.
I'm saying I think Boof now means something different, and all these years later.
I see.
I can't keep up to the slang.
Brett
slang.
Kavanaugh had his own definition, I remember. Boofing was a fart.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Was that what he was saying?
Yeah.
What a fucking weirdo.
Don't act like you don't remember everything that Brett Kavanaugh said, Craig.
I'm not saying you're a weirdo. I'm saying he's a weirdo. But you're a weirdo for remembering, I guess, too. It is kind of weird. Weirdo.
I just remember all the memes that you post about your hero, Brett Kavanaugh. You said, I like the way this guy treats women, and I think he's great.
I like the cut of his jib.
I like the way he boofs.
I like the way he used the term boof. Like a true 1980s jock.
I'm fucking starved.
Are you?
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know what I have not had in like a year?
What haven't you had in a year, Raven?
A beer.
Meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes, huh?
Meat and potatoes.
I suppose
ready.
It always comes down to it.
I tried to go vegan for a year. That's where I've been. Yeah, that's where I've been.
Lies.
So skinny.
Have you missed the meat more or the potatoes, do you think? Which one
Listen,
are you craving more?
Which one's going to get me insulted more? Craig instantly the meat. Potatoes, for the love of God, potatoes. I like pussy and potatoes.
I'm pretty sure pussy isn't vegan.
Depends.
No, I don't think I've ever asked that question before. Now I'm thinking about it. It raises some ethical questions.
Is pussy vegan? Yeah. Don't harm that animal. That's the animal you need to treat the best. Savage FINcast, sex scene fans, here to help you through your commute or wherever you're listening to us, bathroom break, whatever.
Well, speaking of sex scene, how do you guys feel about being bamboozled?
This one you don't dare miss.
This cover fooled us all. Every single person.
Yeah.
It did. Were you fooled?
Oh, absolutely.
Who else would it be?
I was bamboozled. 100% hoodwinked even.
And the book even calls us out on it too. Because Maxine hasn't worn this in years.
Yeah, he really rubbed it in your face. I liked it.
Well, I guess we can discuss it later when you figured out that Maxine wasn't the one on the cover.
Right. So it's just about the cover. You guys, we've talked about it back when it was solicited, but how do you feel about it? I feel like we've had a lot of crotch shot covers recently.
Crotch shot?
It's like he's
punched in the dome?
stomach.
Yeah.
It's a bit above the crotch.
Yeah.
Unless he's tucked his penis into his belt.
Well, it is. Hold on, it is canonically quite large. Yeah. So, canonically, it could happen. Canonically.
I mean, he's got scales. Maybe it's retractable.
No.
It's his lipstick.
Yeah. The biology of Krylin is a mystery. We have never seen it, so who knows?
So, like, question for you, font fans. How do you think that Mr. Morelli meant for us to read this one you don't dare miss? Is it like, this one you don't dare miss?
I actually don't usually think about it in that way.
This one miss, you don't dare.
Has Erik changed his signature?
I mean, it looks fatter, like he used a Sharpie, but no.
It's like Erik Lazo.
Erik Lazate.
Well, the S is very exaggerated. It's like a big J.
So since I've been gone, he's gone back to paper, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I think this one was done on paper. Maybe even twice up. I think he's doing again.
This is twice up. I think last issue he actually went back to paper, I believe, because that one didn't have as many photo references.
So, question: do we know why that happened, or
I think he was just. I think he was just experimenting. I think he was just trying to
got a new toy.
Got a new toy, played around with it, took the shortcuts, learned the value of a hard day's work. Came back to what he knows.
Well, I mean, obviously, like, I think Mark publicly stated that he loves the return. How to Craig, or is that correct, Mark? Did you say that, like, you prefer the traditional?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, how about? Go ahead.
It's looking so. I don't know if it's the best it's ever looked, but it's definitely the best it's looked in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing even like his crappy backgrounds. I missed. And like his shitty cars.
He drew so many shitty candy bars on the double page spread.
Yeah.
Must have been a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
there's lines that you just can't get digitally. I mean, you can if you work at it for years.
Well, all like the kind of photo reference stuff, I don't know. Like, it just, you could tell it wasn't him.
Right.
So I was going to ask, like, Craig, Jim, like, are you on the same page? Like, you like to see the book back where it's at?
I mean, it looks good to me no matter what, because I got no eye for this, but, I mean, it looks great.
Yeah. Sometimes the backgrounds are nice, like, just getting that, but it was like you could tell he was just playing around with it, and like it was overdoing it. You know, it was like I came here for the Larsen art, and I wasn't getting like there was one issue where like every face seemed like
those two strippers were the most egregious, honestly.
Yeah,
in the Paul issue.
Fun playing around, but like I'm glad he got it out of his system, and he's back to drawing on boards now.
Do you think he should go back and redraw those issues?
No.
It
seems like a waste of time to me.
No, I think that's something for all the fans, all the listeners to do, is to go ahead and draw your own version of those books and then publish them.
My favorite thing is like this opening splash when you just get those big, thick, chunky lines, and I love that. Like you're just the stuff that was like digital, that was like photo reference, that was just too like slick.
Even on the line on his shoulder, where like whatever he was using, like the pen split, like split line. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. I love that shit.
Agreed. I just wanted to have a little conversation about it since when I left, it was Digital City.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the direction the book was going, and now here we are, and I was like, oh, well, let's talk about it.
It's so full of energy that, like the signs in the back that are obviously using like a computer font for candy and cashier, those look out of place now.
Yeah,
yes. I would say that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, I don't like those. They kind of look bad, don't they?
Yeah, I'll be honest. They definitely look like a font, and I don't know. It's just I mean, I'm not an artist and I'm not a letterer. Surely there was a way to like fade them up or dirty them up to make them like look more like art than a font.
Not
they're
just
too
something
clean.
that was pasted in. Yeah, they're a little clean.
Fade them a bit.
It doesn't bother me that much, honestly.
No.
Nah, it doesn't bother me either. I think it's perhaps if they didn't even have those letters on there, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like, it just was work that didn't need to be done and doesn't necessarily look great. But, like, on the, like, double-page spread, like, it's fucking fantastic. Just these, like, goons busting through the windows. And then you look and you just see, like, cashier and thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Savage Dragon. We don't know what it says.
So, our edge, patronage, self-serve.
Soft log.
Actually, it's the same sign from the first page, and it says, "Thank you," and you are. Oh, see you again. It's what it says. See you again. Thank you, and see you again.
There you go.
Thank you and see you again.
Glad we solved that mystery.
Solve that puzzle.
Goddamn,
I should be on Wheel of Fortune.
Jim, you're Hercule Poirot.
No wonder people tune in to listen to us.
You deduced that? No, but I'm genuinely impressed. Are you like Adobe AI, like that you remove the hand and reveal what's behind there? That's incredible. Is that Maxine's cooter?
Yes, Raven. Yes. You don't need to ask. The answer is yes.
No pants. No pants.
Yeah, she is going out wearing just a shirt and Angel's jacket.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is Angel's jacket.
Yeah. She stole an Angel's jacket.
A shirt with no bra.
She is displaying her conquests.
Those boots though.
So anyway, I do love these fucking dudes just busting in, and like it's funny because at first I thought that the angle was going to be like some social commentary, like kind of like you go into Walmart and like the baby formula is in this like sophisticated cage thing,
right?
And I was like, God damn! I was like, San Francisco must suck if they've got like if they're treating the candy bars like baby food, and then it turns out it's like fucking super juice, and I was like, okay, well, no social commentary, it's all good.
Erik, I think, does a really good job in this issue of like just setting stuff up and then paying them off. Like even with them talking about like it sucks that everything's behind glass now, and then the guys show up.
Yeah.
Instead of just having them show up out of nowhere and then explaining what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some really good storytelling going on.
Yeah, definitely.
where like nothing is a waste of space except for like maybe one page, which we'll get to.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like the last issue I was super down on, but like this issue, dude, you're 100% right. It's like he got right back on that horse and he's riding, because he's setting him up and knocking him down like efficiently.
It's crazy to me because I feel like his like giant size issues and stuff like that, he always like chooses just to have like a bunch of talking and dialogue. But then like like where was all this action last issue where it was like
well, the action was in the flashback that we didn't like.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I
assume that's why the flashback was there, primarily was to create an action
give
scene.
some kind of action. Yeah.
So, question, guys: the monsters in the foreground of the Dimension X panel, fucking or fighting?
Oh, they're fucking. That is the classic pose, repeated a third time.
The classic pose.
Oh, they're fighting. That guy is strangling that dude from behind, I think, right?
Oh, well, we don't know what their kinks are.
Yeah.
His tail is clearly out of the way, though.
Oh, okay.
And he's strangling him.
But
you
he
don't
is
do that?
definitely strangling him.
It's both. Maybe it's just non-consensual.
Oh, that is.
Or it could be
book's tone.
consensual.
It could be. We don't know how monsters roll.
I am glad that we're cutting back to Frank Glum, though, because I was afraid that maybe we would step away for a while and leave him in limbo. But
you mean Frank Glum Richards?
I don't know that. I don't get that one.
He was Franklin Richards in the last issue.
His middle name is Richards.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I missed it.
Yeah.
I guess I missed that
Fantastic
in the
Four?
wedding vows. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you guys read the book.
Yeah.
Who's our next guest next week? Is it Simon?
I think Simon was up.
Yeah. This guy's a little much.
He's got to defend himself.
I like this gesture Frank is making with his hand outstretched behind him.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a interesting perspective and like a pretty good like shorthand for I am.
I love the background in the last panel.
Dude, I like the background in the first panel of Glum too. Well, you're right. They're both
the colors.
great. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of scribbly shit. It doesn't mean anything, but it works.
I'll tell you, it looks like foliage.
Yeah, it's great.
Alien foliage.
Doesn't need to waste his time drawing all the little branches. It's just, here's a bunch of ink. Figure it out, Nikos.
Figure it out, dude.
Nikos,
it works.
that's your problem.
Yeah.
Is it pussy lips or clothing? Figure it out.
Hey, dudes, don't you think it's awesome, though, that he uses scribbles to make all that foliage, and then you jump over, and the glum structure is just straight up like an igloo.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like two lines. No, here's the thing, is listen, dudes, I mean, I shit all over, if you are a reader of of the Facebook group, I shit all over the last issue for this reason or that reason. I'm not joking when I say I feel like this is Erik's return to form, dude. Here he is, master cartooning his ass off through this. Like Mark said, it's just a bunch of scribbly nonsense, but it fucking works.
Yeah.
I think if he was doing it digitally, he probably would have been tempted to make it look a bit more rendered.
Although that last panel is digital, isn't it?
It sure looks like it. I mean, the background?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
He probably had a texture and then he cut a bunch of, he hit it with the eraser tool to make it look shattered.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Frank Glum's got to watch his ass. Talking like that, it's funny because he definitely sounds like Frank in the first panel.
Right.
But now he sounds like Glum, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's biological to become megalomaniac when you're this size.
Well, I don't know now that I'm looking at that background. The way those, radiating lines come out and they break the panel border and just they look very fluid. I don't know if those are digital or not.
Oh.
There, he might have had some kind of pattern or something, that he put on behind there and then went over with white.
Well, some of these lines look like Spider-Man webbing. A little bit with the little straight line with the curled line around it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like foil or something that I don't know. Who knows?
Like he masked off Glum and just put a bunch of texture in there?
Yeah, maybe. It would have been easier to do it digitally, but yeah, it's hard to sell.
If you're going from digital back to traditional, you definitely want to fuck around with like all that fun stuff you can do with real things.
Right.
I appreciate that Young Angel sort of has a nod to the combined memories thing. You know, I know all about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
But I don't know if she would, right? Did people have the memories in Dimension X? I forget how that worked.
I don't recall.
She wasn't necessarily from Dimension X. She was just another angel. Remember?
No. She was born in Dimension X.
This angel?
Yeah, listen, I'll remind you of what happened. So, Glum took over Dark Lord's lair, which had a bunch of Jennifers and tubes, pregnant Jennifers and tubes, for whatever plan Dark Lord had about that. And so what he did was, after he merged the multiple Earths and failed, he went back to Dimension X, and he basically cut this angel out of her mother and took her to raise as his own.
Damn.
That's where she's from.
So do you think that, like, how does she know all about Frank Darling?
Glum.
I think Glum just taught her that because it was just to help cover up his exit.
And Glum probably just never shuts up.
Also never shuts up about Angel. That's also true. Yeah. He is obsessed.
Fair.
He probably told her his entire plan because he had no one else to talk to.
Fair. And now we get to have the uncomfortable conversation.
Have it.
About, is Savage Dragon porn now?
Well, this is definitely the most porn-like it's been in a while. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like what's so funny is I was defending the book, as I am a fool to do sometimes, and I was like, it hasn't had that stuff for fucking years, you dumbasses. You don't even read. And then, like, this issue comes out, and I was like, well, let's restart the counter. It hasn't had that stuff for issues, you guys.
Well, what I'm saying
is idiots.
Usually the sex in the book isn't sexy, so I don't consider it erotic, and therefore not porn.
Oh.
But the other thing too is, like, as gross as that is, like, you don't see her nipples.
That's true.
You can't see anyone's genitals.
No, you just see a big wad of jizz.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know that's not ice cream. Come on.
It could be ice cream.
We know it's cum. You know it's cum. It's not ice cream, it's cum. Frank didn't jam ice cream.
Why is she licking it off her finger?
Because it's 2% milk, obviously.
Exactly. That's ice cream, man.
Look at the ropes.
Look at the ropes.
Wait, what ropes?
That's melting ice cream.
Oh, the strings. Yeah. Well, then obviously it's just melted mozzarella.
He said, "What ropes?"
What page are we on?
I just love, like, look how, like, the background is just, like, burning hot.
So the funny thing what cracks me up about this is that Frank's a normal guy, right?
Right.
So, like, when Malcolm, blasts the old State Fair zucchini and launches his wife across the room, I get it. He's a superhero.
Does that make sense to you? Okay.
Yes, yeah, it does. Frank has to be like burning his organs into dust to get the protein needed for this.
Hey, he just hasn't been laid in like 10 years. That's just.
He's got a daughter, so probably not 10 years.
He's drinking some kind of like shake some kind of protein shake to generate that.
Maybe there was just something that happened when their minds switched that altered his biology.
Wait a minute, I've got it. Their minds and testicles switched.
Of course.
There you go.
Has it got little glum faces on it?
His brain and his little brain?
It's inside of Frank's scrot is two little glum heads.
Glumsticles.
Glumsticles. That is definitely some bagoom.
Bagoomsticles.
I will say this, two things. I got two things to say about this page. One, Angel.
Oh, really?
Angel, please don't be an idiot. Please help figure this out. Don't be an idiot, please. And two, I really don't like this look on Frank's face about wrapping things up at home. I've seen how things get wrapped up at home when Dart was around. So let's hope that's not about to happen. Let's hope no garbage disposals are involved.
Oh, yeah. You got to imagine, like, Glum now has a daughter under him.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I think this whole plan is fucked for him. He is no way he's going to be able to maintain this
he can't pull
persona for any period of time.
His own fucking mom won't notice.
Do you think we'll get do you think this is setting up some kind of long-term story arc where we're going to get like a baby glum kind of Dark Lord type creature?
Oh, Lord, dude.
I really hope this doesn't lead to a child. That feels even more, makes this bad situation even more awkward, I'll be honest.
Well, I think so, because as we've established, he does have bagoomsticles.
Yeah.
That's canon now.
Here's what's crazy is if you think about it, and please, no listeners think for even one moment that we're glazing over the rape aspect, but wasn't fucking Dark Lord born from alien rape too?
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know how this works because it's just the mind switched in a body.
His biology is just Frank's.
His biology is just a human.
Yeah.
But wasn't like which one of the twins, Peter or the other one?
Oh Jesus, you're right.
When Dragon inhabited what's his name's body? Jesus Christ. William Johnson, yeah.
I'd like to think that it was Peter that was fucked up because the other one is Mark, and I just don't like the idea.
So
calling your ugly character Mark.
Oh, that's right. You have a really easy mimetic device to remember which is which.
Mark's the ugly one, like me.
You don't look like that.
Hey, you guys.
Why don't you have a handsome guy named Mark in your book?
You look like the gremlin from the Hulk.
Right.
I think that just talking as someone who tried to defend the book or whatever about like sexual content, I will say that I don't personally give a shit. Like I think this stuff is fine.
You're still gonna be like, this isn't bad. Just nothing.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is no, I can't say that, right? Because clearly this is definitely sexual content for sure. I just don't know if there's anybody out there like jerking their chain to this. Like
I don't think, yeah, that'd be weird.
No.
And to me, that's the definition of like pornography. Is it's
right.
like, is this sexual content? Oh, fucking A. Of course it is. Is this pornography? I don't think anybody's looking at this and be like, oh yeah.
Well, that's kind of the argument I've always made, is it not being porn because it's not erotic.
It's just shock value.
Yeah, I mean, it was more pornographic, like back with like Rapture in the Shower or
like what do you guys think?
Alex getting done from behind, that sort of stuff.
What do you think?
I think it's like when you see a comedy, like a raunchy comedy movie,
right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, like some guy's like limp dick just shows up in the frame. It's like it's nudity.
Wait, which raunchy comedies are you watching?
I feel like this was in maybe Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox movie. I don't know. There was some movie.
I think you saw the other version.
Big old close up, or like the Bruno movie.
Yeah.
Like it's nobody's turned on by it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's played for laughs. And
Yeah.
What do you think? Question. Okay. Follow-up question. What do you guys think Ed Piskor said when Jim Rugg showed him this panel?
I'll be honest, I don't listen to them enough to know what they would say.
Is that what happened? He showed him that panel?
No. I'm saying, like, you know how Jim's been trying to push the book lately?
Yeah.
Has he?
Like, what do you
I mean, they did a video about like an issue from 3 years ago.
One. Yeah, no, but they did another one.
Did they?
So I'm just feel like Jim and Ed are gonna see this. Do you think like Ed was like, oh my god, man, he's really pushing the envelope here. Wow. Yeah.
I have no idea. I really don't understand his personality.
All right.
Did they review another one? When did they review another one?
They did the
cartoon, like the Sunday Funny.
That's what I'm saying. They did a whole episode of that, but that issue is ancient at this point. Did they do one after that?
They did one right before that. They did when they moved to San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did a video on Amalgam Comics, and the thumbnail says they didn't like it, so I don't think their opinions matter much.
Well, there you go.
They did an issue when they went to San Francisco, like 266.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
The thumbnail said it's time to start reading Savage Dragon again.
Did they like it?
I don't listen. I'm not a fan.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm just too busy. I didn't get a chance to listen, but
I don't listen to all of them. I'll listen to the Savage Dragon ones. I didn't know they did one.
Okay. Yeah, it was 2 months ago, that one. That's why I missed it, because it was actually back when the issue. Actually, it wasn't when the issue came out. It was 2 months ago. But they did do it. They did cover it. So I will check it out later just to see what they say. It would be nice to get more coverage. I mean, they do have a lot of listeners or watchers.
Yeah. The kayfabe effect.
Yeah.
The kayfabe effect. Yeah.
They recently they recently disowned their Facebook fan group. So
really?
Yeah, because I think they did it because they had to distance themselves because the group organizes a lot of like bootleg comics, and they legally can't really back any of that or talk about.
Knew that was gonna backfire.
Oh, I could tell too. Yes.
But what did they say? They just were like, "Oh, that's
yeah.
We don't do that.
We don't go there anymore." I mean, they basically have never been part of the group.
Hey,
Jim
guys,
Rugg chimes in once in a while, doesn't he?
I don't recall. I never.
Do you think that was part of that grand design to like get rid of the fans?
I'll be honest. This would be like the third fan community that got excised by the creator that was involved. So I've done this all before.
I would like to just put it out right now. I know recently in this episode, I told listeners to go back and redraw Savage Dragon. Right. And I just want to say that has nothing to do with me. And I don't know anything about it. And that's not me.
So Craig,
that was Handsome Mark, right?
That's an unofficial. That's some unofficial shit.
So do any of you guys remember PvP Comics, the webcomic by Scott Kurtz?
Scott Kurtz.
Yeah.
So back in the early 2000s, I was part of his forum, his message board group, and sometime around like 2006 or 2008, he got really annoyed we didn't talk about the comic enough. We basically talked about literally everything else, and so he just cut us loose.
I'm out of here.
We became our own message board, and we still exist to this day. We've literally outlived his comic.
What is the name of the message board?
It's called Forumopolis, but it's unlisted right now. We had some spam problems.
It's called No Players versus No Players.
Yeah. Well, it's basically now it's just an online community, and it just kind of exists upon itself with no topic of conversation.
And where's Scott Kurtz now?
Probably naked in a Wendy's bathroom.
Does he still do any comics? What does he do now?
He stopped making the comic a few years ago, and he's been working full time on I think some sort of other writing project. Basically,
that's what happens. All cartoonists just quit and become writers.
That seems like kind of a bitchy thing to do, though.
Eh.
You're not talking about my comic enough. I'm out of here.
I mean, I can understand from his perspective that, like, he's got shit to do. He doesn't want to waste his time coming to this message board where you're talking about, like, a bunch of stuff that he doesn't care about.
Right.
Yeah, but why does he have to?
I mean, it's because it's attached to your brand, and if you don't really know what's going on, they could, like, blow back on you.
Yeah, all right. I see that.
But we were a good group, and it was a good group, and he was wrong to get rid of us. Because we were strong.
You were probably the ringleader.
We literally outlasted him.
It was all you.
No, not me.
Rest in peace.
I was actually kind of a fuck back then, because I wouldn't shut up. I wouldn't shut up about Savage Dragon, and everyone got pissed off at me that I would because I would not shut up about the indie comics I read. So I actually had to dial it back a lot because I was being a dick. And
You
it's not
fuck.
Good. It is not good to be a dick in the social community.
You were giving a bad name to Savage Dragon fans.
Yep. I was talking in too many absolutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the best comic, guys.
I'm going to get in the Internet Wayback Machine and read these comments. Guys, back to Savage Dragon.
Were you named like Jim the Young Shard?
I was and am the adventurer.
The Young Shard boy?
Magic Jim Shard.
Nope. I
Question,
have a
guys.
good name.
I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back to Savage Dragon before the listeners revolt. Question. Do you love or hate Super Juice?
I like it. I actually think it's a really good idea. To just create a low-level super threat that is actually pretty different than anything we've seen before in the comic.
What?
It's just good because anybody can have it.
But you think it's different than what we've seen in the comic?
I mean, we haven't really had like a superhuman drug problem.
What?
I think
was it Freak Out and like Ugly's Unlimited like all about
Freak
that?
Out gets rid of it. Freak Out is how you get rid of superpowers.
Well, how did like the Ugly's Unlimited form?
I think they just mutated themselves in the radiation in the danger zone. At least I thought that's what they did.
Also, Belco Chemicals poisoned the water in Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, that was
right.
it.
So that was a poisoning. That was kind of a random thing. Here we have a drug that someone who wants superpowers can just take it.
I guess
it's on the
We've
streets.
had like the creator giving powers. We've had different forms. It's not a drug.
It's not as interesting visually as like the creator giving powers, but the fact that literally any person can just become superhuman is pretty freaking dangerous as a threat. It's decentralized. Presumably, we might go after whoever's like producing or distributing. Hopefully, as like a plot line, and it doesn't just go away.
But that's exactly what the creator was doing. He was just giving like abilities to like anyone who wanted it.
My problem with it is like it's just giving people like super strength,
right?
And I wish it was like a little bit more randomized and.
Well, I think,
like you said, like visually interesting.
I think what's interesting about it is it kind of feels realistic, which is.
Sure. I
think that's kind of where my interest lies, in that this feels like a fentanyl sort of commentary.
Yeah.
So I got your back, Jim. I'm gonna defend it. Don't worry, Jimmy. I got your back. I also like it. I think it's like freak in.
Right.
I think it's like, instead of a thing that takes away your powers, it gives any average Joe Schmo an ability. I will agree with Craig that I think it should have been like mixed up, like different powers potentially. But hey, this is the first issue we've seen it in. Maybe it is. I think that when you do something like this, here's what's cool about this is that, again, I was criticizing the last issue for not doing enough. This throws in an element that doesn't give you all the answers up front. So instantly now, where our minds are given a new tool to sort of question and wonder, like, okay, we see that the cops say it burns up humans when they use it. But, like, what happens if someone superpowered takes it?
Right.
Also, who's making it?
Right.
Also, who's making it? It's a thing that's cool because, and this has been missing from the book for far too long, it is a thing that poses questions and potentially creates threads. And, oh, baby, haven't we been missing that?
Yeah, I agree. You have to assume tracking down the threat here is like the first mission of the SOS, the new SOS. At least I would assume so.
So
they say it's a problem.
Is Malcolm like a member of the SOS now? Like where he's like?
I think he's just settling in. I think this just happened to happen where he happened to be there.
Yeah, I think Maxine made some kind of mention later that like this was like his first day.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of confused.
Well, he wasn't tracking them down. They broke into the store he was in.
No, but later on. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not sure.
I think it just counts.
It's like when you're an undercover cop and like the stripper that's dancing on you starts doing coke and you're like, you're under arrest.
Yeah. Freeze.
Freeze, fun bags. You're under arrest.
You're making my scales itchy.
And then Erik here, of course, calls us all out for assuming it was Maxine wearing the schoolgirl uniform. Of course, I was curious how many schoolgirls wear schoolgirl uniforms in San Francisco. How likely that is.
He lives there, Jim.
You know what?
He lives there, Jim.
You know
He
what?
knows.
You might be right. He might know something I don't. You might be right, Raven.
He knows. No, I think it's weird too. I thought that was a Japan thing, but maybe it is in. I don't know, dude. Like maybe it is a thing.
Well, I mean, they wear uniforms, but
I've
probably
never
don't
been to
look like that.
I never went to school with uniforms, although I knew of some that did.
My daughter has a uniform, and it's got like a skirt like that. But that's like this is purely Japanese schoolgirl uniform. They don't look like that.
Now, when you saw these girls, did it connect to you that wasn't Maxine on the cover?
Not immediately. No, not immediately.
Yeah. I'm stupid and I didn't. Yeah.
So you okay? So you do want to know what my brain track was on? Okay, so the story introduces the jump juice or whatever it's called, the drug.
Super juice.
Super juice. And then skipping over the next page, we get to that page where we see the girl getting bullied. Mm-hmm. I actually thought, because of how it was colored, that this was a flashback, and that this was Maxine.
I thought the same thing.
Probably because I'm racist.
Really?
Yeah.
And I thought
this was a flashback.
I thought the story was setting up that Maxine was going to take it.
That's what I thought.
That
Yeah.
was my train of thought until the story, told me different.
Well, just the way it's colored, all like monotone with like no backgrounds, just red. It looked like a flashback.
She's got gap teeth.
Right.
Maxine.
That's a visual cue that it's not Maxine.
Right.
But but here's the other thing. I'm dumb.
Me too.
And I wasn't noticing that when I was reading.
No, I didn't know it wasn't Maxine until Malcolm got punched in the third act. Well, until he finds her in the rubble of the school. That's when I figured it out.
I, like Craig, assumed that we were reading the villain arc origin of the girl who would not be Maxine.
Yeah.
I assume, Craig, when you read that, even though it was colored that way, you were like, oh, this is the girl who's going to take super juice.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Hey.
And also because I don't think all Asians look alike.
Right. See, exactly.
So, you know what's so funny about you making that crack is when I read this, I was like, oh, he played on our racism.
He sure did.
He saw black hair and just assumed.
No, to be honest, it was the uniform. I'll be honest, because I still wasn't making the connection. Right. But not to skip over it, but Walter is coming to San Francisco via boxcar, and you gotta love it.
We're not skipping over Walter. Can I just say, I guess I just need to drink a tall glass of shut the fuck up juice. Because I was complaining that Walter wasn't at the wedding. Apparently, Walter wasn't even allowed to goddamn travel with them.
Yeah.
So he must. So what's funny is this sequence suggests that I should drink that shut the fuck up juice because I believe that Walter is still being treated like a secret.
Oh, you mean by Amy? Well, yeah.
I mean, obviously they know about him. There was that whole issue where they knew about him.
Right.
But, like, I'm saying that, like, Walter was clearly not invited to travel with the family if he's going all boxcar Willie down south.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's Amy's friend. He's not the family's friend.
He's dangerous.
And he's also a tiger.
What efficient storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, if you really pay attention, this is why he wasn't at the wedding. You don't invite a hobo to your wedding.
Well, I mean,
no obligations to escort this tiger man around the country with him.
Right?
Yeah.
Friend of the family? Fuck you.
There's some great looking hobos in that second panel.
This whole page is great.
Yeah. Yes. The comedy is wonderful. Feet don't fail me now.
The boxcar. Like Just the trail of the boxcar coming down the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, those hobos look fantastic, dude. Are these hobos actually bumming off another hobo?
They broke the hobo code.
Yeah.
He's stealing some food off another guy.
Well, they're gonna.
That's how it works on the
persuade him
trains.
to share the wealth.
No, the hobo code is you're always, you share with your like-minded, and you always give
Not
credit.
these days, Jim.
You always
is the modern hobo.
Give the IDs back when you steal the wallets.
Shout outs to the Walter W's. I didn't notice it until friend of the show, Jim Purcell, pointed out that those are Walter W's in his tiger stripes.
Yep, he's World Wrestling all the way.
Love it. www.walter.com. No, it's a good ass page. And since we're back to the flashback that wasn't a flashback, I'm going to say that this is a page that could have been visually boring, but I think this coloring choice makes it actually interesting, and I like it. I like that he went with it.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah.
It's just
good.
too bad that I was not smart enough to know what I was reading.
Did you go back and say,
Yeah. It was when the cops were like, oh, this schoolgirls hopped up on super juice. I was like, that wasn't Maxine, you idiot. It took me that long into the issue to realize it.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
You know what's so funny about this, like, meme rant that Maxine has?
I do not like this page.
What's crazy about this rant is that, like, spoiler alert, if you follow Erik on Facebook.
It's the same thing he was bitching about, right?
Yeah, it's like the verbatim thing. And I posted in the comments, I was like, I have not seen that at all. And he's like, it's everywhere on my timeline.
I have not seen it either.
Well, he's probably got a lot more boomers on his timeline than we do.
That's a good point.
Family and friends.
I had not seen this once. Like, he was the only place that I saw that.
I've heard of it before, but not to the point where I'd get angry about it.
That you would dedicate an entire page of your book
Absolutely not. No.
to ranting about it? I do like when he occasionally gets his Facebook rants and just puts them in the book.
Yeah. It is funny to see Maxine this worked up about it. I will say that.
But, I mean, I will say, though, that, like, it's hilarious because you get all those words, and I don't know if you guys are the kind of comic reader that I am, but, like, my eye sort of glances around the page when I know I got a lot of reading to do. And there's no way you couldn't not see that last panel and be like, oh.
I'm going to skip this for now.
Right? Still talking about calendars.
So Raven, we were wondering how you feeling about this.
Say, are you Savage Dragon? Even better. You're the young fellow who saved our world from aliens and put a stop to Osama bin Laden when he became a giant irradiated rage monster.
Now be careful, Raven. That voice is still under trademark or copyright.
Read the flick your bean part. That's the best part.
Read the flick your bean. And I'm a big fan of your viral video. The way you flicked your bean and sprayed the crowd in front of those strippers was a masterclass in self-abuse. It was such a turn on. I've got something of a Steamboat Willie myself, if you know what I mean. This is why I had to come back.
It is.
I had to get my life back and I had to get my life together and come back to the show just for this moment.
Raven has been practicing his voice this entire time because he knew it was coming.
I knew for years.
You think Maxine thinks she's gone too far finally? When the cartoon mouse is coming asking for it?
So, like, the funny thing is that I was like, yo, as soon as I saw Steamboat Willie was public domain, I was like, is Erik going to put him in the book? And, dude, I would have never in a million years guessed this was how this shit was going to play out. This is the fucking funniest shit. I was dying reading this.
And those creepy
guys.
It's creepy.
Is this the first published book that has a
Mickey
Mouse?
like
maybe
public domain Mickey?
maybe.
Probably.
I'm surprised it's not on Bleeding Cool. Well, actually, this issue, as we're reviewing it, hasn't come out yet. So do you think it becomes a Bleeding Cool article or something?
I mean, Rich
Yes, dude.
Johnson will post anything not spell checked.
Yeah, dude. Rich Johnson, as soon as he sees this shit, it's going to become front page news immediately.
Because Erik has the luxury of he doesn't have to discuss this idea with an editor. He doesn't have to solicit it.
I know. That's the best part of it. It's like he just wants to make himself laugh. He's like, I'm gonna throw this page in there because it's fucking funny to me.
Yeah. Like with everybody else, like they'd probably have to like convince 6 or 7 other people. Like, can we put Mickey in our book? Like he's
Talk about flicking your bean.
right.
Well, I think the funniest thing is that like that's exactly what the fuck you've got going on here. And again, I said this issue was kind of like a return to form. Like, dude, that is what makes this book so good. Is that I guarantee you, fucking anybody else would have been like, nah, we can't. You know, it's too soon. And if we do, it's gonna be. Meanwhile, here's Erik. I think I'll just have Mickey Mouse walk up to the main characters and talk about this guy's wife's fucking porn video right to her.
Wait, so he gave the number in case they're in the mood to experiment. Does Mickey Mouse show up later on?
I mean, here's the thing: is Minnie is public domain too. So do we get a Mickey?
That would
Minnie,
be wild if he had the balls to do that.
A Mickey, Minnie, Maxine, Malcolm fucking 4-way. Ridiculous.
How about the middle panel on the left and the bottom panel on the left?
You see that? You see that too?
Thumbhead.
Oh, thumbhead! I was going to bring that up.
Thumbhead.
Thumbhead. Yeah.
Look, there's some tangents that you don't see until they're in color, and they're staring you in the face.
You know what's funny is I didn't see that tangent. You guys have become like tangent masters. I didn't see that tangent until you pointed it out. Now I can't unsee it, dude.
Old Thumbhead.
It's great.
Yeah, I didn't see it until today when I reread it. Oh, that is a thumbhead.
What I mean, like, what do you think this means for the book? Like,
I don't think it means
show
much.
up again?
Honestly, don't think it means much. I think it's just
Yeah, I think that's it.
We're
However,
probably never gonna see it
however, see me because I'm me. What I find interesting about this to me is that he's now established that cartoon characters can just exist alongside
Right.
humans, Roger Rabbit style, and I'm all for that.
Right.
Bring me more cartoon characters, Erik. I want to see more cartoon characters.
I feel like
his
he's
ears-
done this before at some point. No.
Think of the closest thing. I mean, Destroyer Duck doesn't really count because he's not a cartoon character like
Yeah.
Howard. I mean, I guess Leonard who is Howard, kind of constitutes a cartoon character, sort of.
I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely a talking animals. But yeah.
Yeah, but
maybe
but,
not, like-
Mickey's not a talking animal. He's a cartoon character. He's not like
Yeah.
Walter.
Right. He's not like an actor.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I kind of interpret him as like it's like the Roger Rabbit rules. He's the actor who plays Mickey Mouse in the movies.
He's ink and paint.
Yeah, kind of. That's how I interpret it.
I mean, you can always just play it off as a guy in a costume, honestly, and just one and done. Like,
I want him to be a cartoon character who
I
lives among us.
I want him to be real. I want him to be in fucking San Francisco. I want them to bump into him at the supermarket and he asks if they've considered.
Oh,
You know?
well, I don't know if it counts, but we did see Popeye behind the counter, behind the face mask in the.
Okay.
Of course, that was in the Popeye comic strip, so he would look like Popeye. So, but Popeye is going to be public domain in like 12 months anyway.
Yeah. So, but here's the great thing is that, like, so guys, when fucking Superman becomes public domain in just a few years, is Malcolm going to finally have a Superman crossover again?
Well, don't
yeah,
forget.
can you just do that?
Well, don't forget, we've actually seen Dr. Savannah in Savage Dragon previously.
Right.
And
So, like,
technically,
we know he doesn't-
strictly speaking, Captain Marvel is already public domain. he can be used
so you
anytime.
keep him off the cover.
Right.
Yeah, you keep him off the cover and bada boom, bada bing.
Call it Wiz
We've
Comics.
also seen, like, The Thing has been in here. Captain America's been
Well,
in Savage.
it's different
Like an
when
arm, though.
it's different when it's just an
Right.
arm.
They call him Mickey Mouse and have a conversation with him.
When it's just like an arm, you
You're
just
right.
call it like
You're
parody.
He's
He
I don't know
invites
if we're
them to
gonna
have
see him.
sex.
he's the immortal homunculus from 1928.
Well, what do you think is in his bag?
Oh, his groceries.
A severed head.
No, this
It's
is why I
small
think
bag.
he's. This is why I think he's coming back, because that was the same fucking thing I thought, dude. I was like, okay, what the fuck is in the bag?
It's not. Doesn't look like a regular grocery bag.
What's in the bag?
It's just one. It's just one bag.
Right,
Maybe it's his booze.
40 ounce.
Yeah.
Those usually come in like those paper lunch bags, though, right? I'm real curious. We got to get to the bottom of what's in Mickey's bag. That should have been the FINteresting Conversation.
What do you, dear listener, what do you think is in Mickey Mouse's bag?
Right. Serious answers only.
A whole bunch of uppers.
Don't make this into a joke.
That means you, Travis.
So turn the page, and suddenly we got Joey Finkelberry 2.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
I love it.
It's a horrible scene.
No,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Take that,
Ears
bullies.
and eyes and teeth. Boom.
Surprised
Head turns into soup.
surprised it's not a path.
I love those classic like Larsen like tile floor streaks.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful double pager.
And then the splash, like, that's the Mark Welser splash there.
It's the splatter.
Oh, the splatter. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like he fucking put ink on his lips and kissed the page. Mwah!
You can't do that digitally.
Right? You can't kiss the page digitally. Not with inky lips, you can't do it.
I love the texture of the ceiling.
Yeah, dude, this is a texture feast. Like, there's texture on the ceiling, texture on the tiles, texture on the floorboard under the lockers. There's the ink splatter, even the shadow on the one girl's leg. Like, this shit is great.
Yeah, this is
And-
when I realized it wasn't Maxine. You guys.
There's even-
this is,
There's
it
even a
took me
color.
this long.
There's a coloring callback. Like, everything's red and they're blue, except for the two main central figures.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Homeboy Nikos. That's a great choice. A good comic has the entire team working together.
Like, imagine getting punched in the face and, like, your ear and your eyeball go flying at the same time.
And that's all that's left. Everything else is
Yeah.
pulp.
Yeah, I mean, you're fucked.
Well, at least it was over fast.
Right. Miss that ear.
I love these cops.
Yeah, they're great. Like with the bums and the train, like Erik's really doing great. It's almost like a middle finger to all the referenced background characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like
gonna
just
go ahead and
No,
do
no.
the theory now that this cop lady is also a cartoon. She's probably a public domain cartoon that just lives in San Francisco.
well, when she said her kids can be cruel at any age, really, it's like, you know, she's had some cruelty.
Right. Kids
Drawn-
making fun of her weird lip.
Yeah, or you know, her crazy like small face in the middle of her big head.
Right.
It's like great, like again, just great sequential art. Like you got like the fucking panel of her in the foreground with all the bodies around, and like Malcolm's just like approaching in the distance. Ooh, good stuff.
That's a really good shot. Do you think that these cops, since these aren't the typical kind of cops that we see in the book, it's like like a scrawny old man and some overweight woman? Is this some kind of comment on the type of police that we're going to expect to see in San Francisco, and that's why we need Malcolm and The SOS?
Yeah, for sure. Like these are not Chicago guys with like giant fucking like freak guns.
Yeah, they look like...
This is like Police Academy.
Well, we met that other one previously. She seemed cool. Those are sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
These guys are total Police Academy type guys.
Yeah.
They're goons. Yeah.
But yeah, this girl has destroyed the school and killed everybody. Fucked up.
I thought it was awesome. This was an awesome thing because, like, it's that kind of thing where you got the, like, it's not an easy corporate comics thing. Like, in a corporate comic, like, you know, maybe she wouldn't have killed her classmates, but she would have, like, maybe, you know, like, destroyed the school or whatever. Here she's, like, fucking just killed she's killed the other, like, kids. You know she's going to end up in a bad way because the drug is going to have some kind of bad effect on her body. You don't know what yet. Like, the whole thing is just a terrible situation. And it's the awesome kind of shit you only get in Savage Dragon, baby.
You get the cool cover callback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, the John Day appearance. I love that panel with the two cops on the bottom. They look great holding the pistols.
Oh, yeah. I've got a bead on her. She's ready to blast the child way too easy. Boom. Great texture on the bricks. Great explosion. Clearly not a dick punch. It's in the abs.
Right.
It's good. This is just a good ass, like the way the body language on her and Malcolm.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Great stuff, dude.
All that weird brick texture that he's doing.
Yeah. Like all crisscross one way and then crisscross the other, especially like around Malcolm's calf.
Yeah, it's great.
I kind of get the impression that Malcolm's letting her beat the shit out of him.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, because he could probably, like, knock her block off, like, with a one punch, you know?
Well, you can see how easily he defeats, or he stops her punches.
Right.
And then when he does hit her, it's, does he hit her?
No, he never hits her.
He never hits her. I'm thinking of the guys in the beginning.
No, the only thing he does is he grabs her hands, immobilizes her, and gets kicked for the trouble. But otherwise, he is just trying to immobilize her and let her, like, wear herself out.
That is...
Get it out of her system on him, because he can take it. Yeah.
It's a great page where she's, like, kicking him, and especially that last panel. I love just those, like I said, those thick inks and just kind of quick, not a lot of detail, but awesome cartooning of her face.
Yeah, her face is awesome.
Okay.
And the bunt, so good. That, like the body, like the way she did that on the...
That's a really good pose with the foreshortened on the foreground leg.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, man. This is good action, good cartooning, just excellent.
I love his scratchy panels.
Yeah, you mean with the borders?
Yeah.
The dry brush stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you look, you even see the ink spatters like all over the page, which that's good. Like I love that they didn't clean that, like he didn't clean it out.
Yeah.
It's good shit, man.
Bunt.
It's so good. I don't think we've had a bunt in 30 years.
No, it's a good bunt.
Yeah, and again, the cop with the big nose and the weird upper lip. What a cartoon character. Like, again, I love that chick's face. Like, these two are good characters.
Awesome.
Are they going to be recurring characters?
I hope.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I always like reoccurring characters. Is like the familiarity of just seeing guys pop back up that you've seen before.
Just the same, like, news reporter and the same...
Yeah, even like back in the day, like the same cops, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she has some kind of heart problem there.
Well, yeah, her heart gives out from all the exertion.
Yep. Too much strain on your body, just like Glum pounding Angel.
It's a great face, though, the heart attack face, and she's like, ugh.
When Ric Flair had his heart attack and when he was cutting a promo in WCW.
That's a nice deep cut.
You remember that?
Was it like they have it recorded?
Yeah, I'll send you the link later.
It was like a real heart attack?
It sure looked real to me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I thought it was a work, but
Wendy Williams had a stroke on TV too, and the clip is insane.
Ugh.
She
just started talking gibberish.
She got big eyes and just started shaking and fell over, and I was like, horrifying. But she lived, so you can laugh a little, it's fine. But
she's all fucked up now.
Ric Flair is never going to die.
No, he's immortal.
Yeah, he's
stop
replaced all his blood with cocaine.
And alcohol, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like the zipatone that Erik's using. It's thick and big, obvious dots.
Yeah.
And it's used throughout the issue several times. And I don't know, just gonna say shout out to zipatone.
Well, I would imagine that would be a Photoshop filter.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's digital
at this point.
I love like this whole page of the heart attack. Like I love Malcolm's pose on the second panel. I love like the different camera angles. Like, like that's the thing with Erik doesn't get enough credit for. Like he can take things that should be kind of boring, and just the way he places the camera angles, it's just great. Like that shot with the cops like running towards like
their legs.
Yeah, like.
Let's be real. The stress marks on their pants leading up to their cheeks.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Yeah, it's like
it is good. I'm not.
It's so visually interesting throughout the book. Like something that if you gave this to another artist, just wouldn't come out this way.
Yeah, no, 100% gonna back you up. Like here's the thing: 3 simple words: move the camera.
Yeah.
And if Rob Liefeld can get it, and I don't know if he does it, but even Rob Liefeld tweeted, move the camera. I'm saying, move the camera, folks. Not everything needs to be a Jim Lee action figure straight on shot.
Right.
You can move that camera around and get interesting dynamic angles, compositions. You're the cinematographer when you're making the comic. A lot of comics suffer from that camera in the same place. Everyone's from the waist up.
Yeah.
Erik's gonna move that shit around, dude.
And do a shitload of cross-hatching on a big old nose.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I love it. I love every line.
Like if like you try to do it, it just wouldn't work for some. You know what I mean? Like it's like.
But like the rest of his face is just like these big chunky. I don't want to say like bad, but like loose lines, and then rendered the shit out of that nose.
And it looks great. It doesn't look like it should work, but it does totally.
It's like Sam Keith kind of.
Yeah.
Cartooning, baby.
If I tried to do that, it would just look awful.
Yeah, same. It would just look like a big splotch that it was a mistake.
That's a lifetime of cartooning.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Awesome shit.
Pretty low-key page to end on, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. When I read it, I was like,
yeah, well, I know. I kind of like the way it wraps up because it's like, he just saw this like super freak kind of little girl just destroy a school. And it's like, it really is kind of a good way to wrap it up in terms of like, oh, we got like 4 of these kids that aren't on a drug. They have this power all the time.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Their heart won't stop when they're murdering a bunch of people.
Right. Right.
Also, they're getting tall, or Maxine is just short.
No, the kids, I was going to mention that. Like, the kids definitely, like, grew bigger. Like, they're, like, definitely look like thinner, like, 8 or 10-year-olds. I don't know how old they are now. Anyone have any idea?
They got to be going on 10 or 12 because the angel we saw was, like, 6. And so I guess that's to be in the merging of the multiple Earths happened about 6 years ago, real time. And the kids were definitely around then, so they got to be a bit older than that. Suppose I could go check their birth dates.
I'm going to go ahead and praise another subtle piece of storytelling. We saw Maxine hoed out in the earlier part of the issue, but she's wearing this super cute outfit to pick the kids up. Hey, guys, that's just good parenting.
Yeah. So I think they're almost 9, right?
Or was she so creeped out by Mickey Mouse?
Well, this is the same outfit she was wearing when she met Mickey Mouse.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure she was wearing
right.
the button up with the mini skirt.
Yeah.
It is. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is the same day. This is the same day.
I'm glad that the issue ends on a shitty Larsen car, though. And I mean that sincerely. You know, I miss him. Instead of some traced.
Amy Dragon was born in 2015, so she is 14. No, my math is bad.
9.
She's 9.
Not quite 9 yet.
Yeah.
Well, Maddie's in school too. Like she was the youngest, and she's in school too. So it's like, huh?
Yeah. There's a lot of clicking going on.
Oh, sorry.
Someone's letting their fake fan show. We just
You don't know off the top of your head?
Exactly. You don't know 30 years of comics just out of your head? Fake fan.
2018, so she is...
Now, I think, like, here's the thing, is if you thought that last page
Like
was
5
a
or 6.
disappointment...
6, yeah. First grade.
I think the real thing that was disappointing was this backup.
Yeah. You should just skip it.
What should we... Don't even mention it.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
It was a great episode, guys. Good issue. Raven, nice to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. No, jokes aside, dude, absolutely fantastic. Love this backup.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit that I love the most from a Savage Dragon backup. It features Savage Dragon characters. It's in continuity, like it features events from things we've read, so it feels like it matters, even if Erik's going to ignore it. It feels like it matters. And this shit is just TNT. You, Mark, artists, we got Rich, Gods of War, Johnny Raygun, Sergeant Werewolf, Woodall also contributing the words. Beautiful music you two make together. Beautiful music.
Who did the letters on this?
Jack Morelli.
Jack Morelli.
Nice.
Dial tone.
What does that mean?
Explain.
Is that the...
From G.I. Joe.
Oh,
Did
right.
he do the lettering on G.I. Joe?
No.
Oh, that was his name?
No.
Dial tone's real name is Jack Morelli, which I assume...
I like how you laughed at me like I should have known that.
Well, it is a deep cut, because I think...
It's my favorite joke.
Because Morelli...
And nobody gets it.
Morelli probably lettered the Marvel G.I. Joe comic, and Hama named all the characters, or most of them.
Right.
So it was probably a direct reference to the letterer.
That's always my guess, but it's
That's
nice
cool.
to have Dial Tone himself lettering our book.
I like the title font, the Frankenstein Force. That real, like, 60s horror type.
That Frankenstein looks familiar. I gotta check something real quick.
So while you're checking that, I'll just praise the artwork. You got this badass splash page. Roughneck got his fucking legs chewed off by Mako. So we see him sitting here. It's so hard for me to not talk insider baseball on this backup. Because, like, we know the story. I don't know how much you do or don't want to get into it. But, like, the thing is I had the luxury of seeing these beautiful pages in person. And Mark, of course, drew him, so he fucking saw him. So the minute I see it, I'm like, oh no, the giant legs.
Right?
So,
Are they? Do they look too big?
They're supposed to,
when
though.
you first,
They do, but
drew it, they weren't, though, right?
Right. No, I drew them much smaller initially.
And then,
yeah,
so basically for the listener, they're bronze legs
right.
with
Yeah.
Roughneck's body. And then Erik kind of had he was like, those legs should be bigger, right? Or
Because
something.
Braun's like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, these aren't things that the artist was considering when he was drawing these pages.
I love it. But here's the thing, is that, like, what's funny is, so just so you guys know, like, if you see it, like, normal proportionate, he looks like a fucking badass.
Yeah.
If you see it with giant legs, it changes the whole tone. His legs are so big.
But that,
but I think that's kind of funny.
It is funny. I mean, Roughneck is not a serious character, so having him having unusually long legs is hilarious.
So,
well, yeah.
Can you talk about this, like the making of this a little bit, like, or is it?
I can. Yeah, sure.
Did you go back and redraw it, or did you just expand, like cut and paste, kind of?
We just kind of went in and made them bigger. I wasn't going to redraw anything.
Yeah.
And it was all colored by then, so we just kind of went in Photoshop and just kind of enlarged them.
It is a bit fucked up that he made you redraw him.
But
admit,
he took so
Nobody
long. You guys had this in, right, for like months before he said something.
Yeah.
I remember, like, because it was like originally it was going to be in the issue before.
Yeah, no, we had this done a long time ago.
And yeah, it was like, you know, we'll see who gets things done or whatever. And I know
that was
you
the
guys...
thing, was because how this story even came about is like Rich was proposing, like, maybe because we're like, there's so much Spawn shit, there needs to be more Dragon shit. So I think Rich was like, maybe you could have like a spin-off book about supervillains or something, or like even like a running backup. And Erik was like, what I really need right now is to fill this 100-page book that I just solicited, because I don't have stories for it. So it's like, if you guys want to come up with something for that, that'd be great. So Rich came up with some ideas. One of them was a North Force story that Erik found some logic problem with it, so that got shut down. Another one was like a story about Thor on trial for all his crimes over the years that Erik didn't like. And Rich and I were like, we're just beating our head against the wall. We're like, I don't know what to do. And we're like, he says this in an email. It's like, we were trying everything. So we even suggest, we're thinking of an idea where Roughneck gets new legs. And Eric's like, well, that might be a good idea. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
Well, that's an Erik Larsen good idea.
Right. So he's like, he should have bronze legs. Go write it.
So okay. So since we're getting into the insider baseball, I'll just say. So I thought that you had Braun looking. I mean, you had Roughneck looking pretty badass, honestly. And the idea of him having super powered legs is kind of kick-ass too. So the funny thing is that like this hits my eyes as he looks goofy and wrong because I saw it the other way. And so now that we've discussed that you had to Photoshop the legs and fix all the art, it just bakes my beans. I don't know what I don't know what the decision making was, where you don't just have Dr. Pugly change one line of text instead of changing all the art. Because like he even says, good, it may take a bit to get used to them. They are considerably larger than what you're used to. But like what would have been just as easy to do is have him say, good, I even resized them to fit your body. And then with one line of text, you could have fixed the problem, finger quotes, instead of having to change all the art and make him look goofy and everything. It's fine. In the end, of course, I think that the backup still shines.
Well, Dr. Pugly doesn't know how to reduce body limb sizes, Raven, so
apparently
was your logic.
I think what it comes down to is
we see him reduce a monster.
Suggested him having these giant legs because he thought it would look stupid.
But
then when the pages came in and they didn't look dumb, he's like, well, what happened? You ruined my joke.
Make him look dumber.
Make him look dumber.
That sounds like Erik. I mean,
the first time we see Pugly, is he not reducing a monster in size with a remote control?
With one button.
Yeah. He pushes one button and it shrinks down and he just takes... So I'm just saying it would have been so easy. It's okay. I honestly...
Who chose Go ahead, sorry.
Or I'm sorry. The last thing I'll say is that like it was hilarious to hold this story up because I knew it was done before the wedding issue. and I thought it was gonna be in the wedding issue, and the wedding issue really needed fresh material.
Yeah,
and so it's like
needed one less Megaton story and more.
And
of this.
when I got that, I was just like, where's the Roughneck story? All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
The Dr. Pugly, did you guys choose him from? I remember he showed up in like the Jack Staff thing. Is that where?
Yeah, that was. I was trying to think of who we could use, and I originally suggested we use Dr. Savannah because I knew he was already established as
like a mad doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, like who's a mad doctor? We could use Dr. Savannah. And I was talking with Gavin. He's like, "Well, that's that Dr. Pugsley guy, that Professor Pugsley. Like, he's probably never going to be shown up again. Let's try him." So we put it in the story, and Erik approved it. He let us kill him.
Nice. And then who helped you out with all the Vicious Circle goons? Did Gavin like give you like a list of who was recently killed or something?
No. Well, the original story that Rich wrote, because Rich came up with this Frankenstein Force idea. That was all him.
Which is great.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The story that he wrote, and he wrote like full script dialogue. It had like dates and stuff. It was all about Professor Pugly collecting all these parts of dead freaks, putting them together, and like doing his experiments, and then having them fail and trying new things. And then at the end of the story, he's perfected it. And then Roughneck shows up with his new legs, and like that was the end of the story. But I was like, Rich, this is a really good idea. The problem is Erik's never going to run with this ball that we just tossed. You know, like if we want to do a story with Frankenstein Force, like we have to pretty much do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Because Erik doesn't really give a shit about backup stuff that he wasn't involved in. He never continues it.
Right.
No.
And I don't blame him. But so, like rather than have this cool idea just go nowhere forever, I'm like, we'll just start it out with Roughneck's already got the legs.
Right.
Yeah. Good call. Absolutely. Yeah. That was absolutely the call.
The story that Rich wrote was really good, but I was like, it's a lot of just him messing around in his lab, and let's just cut to the chase.
Right.
I'm gonna convince Rich to share the script online.
If he wants to do that, I'm sure that he'd be fine. But
do you have a list of all the freaks that are made up of the Frankenstein freaks?
I had a list because I think that's what slowed me down the most was like looking up who was dead and like what parts were still.
Some of these guys get more screen time than they ever had.
Yeah, I had to like find like
that tech head guy has been around since like the 20s, hasn't he?
I don't.
No,
Tech Head's been around that long.
Oh, maybe it's like just since like 180.
There was that other guy with the green head. It was like Artillery. He's been around since the 20s.
I want to know whose torso Pucker's got because that looks really familiar to me.
That's Sickly.
Sickly?
Right? That's Sickly. Yeah, and Bare Hands.
Oh yeah.
Wait, is Bare Hands dead?
Dude, whose giant arm is that in the background? I couldn't figure that out.
That's Chaos.
That's Chaos.
Oh shit! I wasn't even thinking of that.
Control.
Yeah, because he shows up later on, like the giant arm, is just like smashing someone. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I want to use I have a big dumb arm.
I wasn't even thinking Chaos's arm. That's wild.
Well, I wanted to use guys that like had died recently, and without going back like 50 issues.
You got that Myotis guy's like ear.
Yeah, he's in
the
there.
bat guy.
What the fuck? Bare Hands is dead. Fuck.
Dude, who's the Hell Eyes guy? The guy with like the one eye monocle thing. Whose body is that? That's not Undermine. Who is that?
The green one?
Yeah.
I think his name was Artillery.
Oh, that showed up a lot. That costume.
Warfare. I don't remember his.
Yeah.
Might be Warfare. Yeah, he showed up in like a panel.
Yeah. It's just I remember that costume and I couldn't place it.
And Scott James did a story with him in it too.
Yeah. And then who was the one like on the tech head, like the pink leg with like the snake thing around it? What is that from? Is that like one of the worm guys or something?
I think the name was like Rot Gut or something.
Ah.
I've got a list of these guys somewhere. I was
like,
gonna try to find it because I knew you guys would be asking who all these parts were.
Don't worry about
Split
it.
Head, Death Gaze.
But I
Oh,
can't
it's
remember.
Death Gaze, right? Is not Death
Death
Gaze
Gaze
is the
is
guy
the guy
with
with
the monocle. And Bug Eye. Split Head has got like the.
I gotta say, these guys at the poker game are cool. I suspect you created those.
Yeah, those are all new guys.
Is
The
that
owl?
Woodsy the owl?
Yeah, it was great.
Is that Woodsy?
No, that character is named Weird Owl.
Oh, dude, yes. Weird Owl. Who's the boxing glove guy?
Tough Jeff.
Tough Jeff. Good stuff.
What about
The guy with
the mustache with the Bucky costume?
I think his name was the poorly behaved rascal, something like that. I gave him some dumb, long-winded, pretentious name. The badly behaved.
The flame guy.
Roustabout.
I love the flame guy. He's got like the tube arms, like very young bloodish.
Well, Mako-esque.
That guy's name is Firearm.
He looks like a Freak Force villain.
Yeah.
Whose job was it to put what cards on the cards that you drew?
I did all that.
You had to do all that?
Yeah, I don't think I had to, but I'm the one who did it.
Good for you, man.
What'd you say? Who did what?
Who
Put
put
all the cards.
Yeah, the little cards, the detail
Yeah,
of the
the
cards.
playing
on the
cards.
I drew them blank, and then I had to put the little... I was like, I don't want anyone else to have to do this. I'll just do it myself.
Good for you.
Yeah. And that panel with them all attacking, I was trying to treat it like a double page spread, but have it be like just a big panel.
Yeah.
I tried to squeeze in as much shit as I could.
Well, let's one thing we didn't talk about, like on the first page, and then what happens again later on is like all the the callbacks. So like
Yeah.
that first page is the Super Patriot pose from. Is that from the miniseries?
Yeah, that was from issue 2.
And then I also recognize the wall. You know, his first Roughneck's first appearance. He's
Yep.
kicking through the wall, and then basically the dialogue is almost word for word.
Dialogue's pretty similar there too. Yeah, those are the only real callbacks that I had. But I definitely wanted to call back to his first appearance because now he's got these legs. He can kick through walls twice as hard.
Right?
It's a good point.
Yeah. I was like, we gotta have him showing off his new legs. He's gonna be kicking everybody. So even when they're fighting, he's just kicking guys.
Can you imagine he's peeing through Braun's dingus?
Oh, I'm sure it's massive.
I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, the size difference.
Of course.
I'm sure it's massive.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, when Rich did that story that he wrote to me, and I was like, Rich, we got to change this up. The problem was he was so busy that he couldn't come back to like coming up with a new plot for like a week or so. So I said, Rich, if it's okay, I can try to come up with something that get us started in the meantime. So I plotted something out, but I didn't have an ending. And I sent it to Rich, and I said, we'll figure out an ending. He's like, all right. And he sends it to Erik, and then Erik comes back with notes. He's like, oh, this is a good story, but there's no ending. So the end with the Canadian punching out Roughneck, that was Erik's suggestion.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's a good
it's
ending.
a good way to tie it up.
Yeah, it was a good way to tie it up.
Yeah. It's really good. Great. Fantastic, even.
Yeah, this is an exceptional backup. And just so you know, even though it seemed like I was alluding that the bigger legs ruined it, they're fine. It's actually fine. Yeah, when I see the finished comic, I just have the burden of seeing the original art. And like I said, in the original art, he looked cool. Like the legs look cool on him. And now, like it's like they do look a little silly, but guess what? It's fine. And it actually doesn't ruin or detract from anything. It's fine. And so it's actually one of my favorite backups in a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Fantastic work, dude.
Thanks, guys. I think that was my problem too. Was that when I was trying to put this story together with Rich, I was like, let's make Roughneck like a badass. So he's got these badass legs. He's beating up all these guys, and then the end, he just gets punched once by a Canadian, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a joke.
Right.
He just
And
crushes the doctor's arms. Pretty funny.
Yeah, he should have stepped on it in hindsight.
whose idea was it to have Pugly have that manner of speech?
That's the way Erik wrote him in his one appearance.
You broke me arm.
Yeah, it's good.
He's like Cockney or something, I think. Yeah, we tried. There was not a lot to
Well,
go on. We know
I mean,
that
he came
was
from Jack Staff. I mean, so he's, we know he's from the UK, right? Somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
so
that,
he
right?
what? So he was one of the villains in like the World Tour arc.
Yeah, the crossover with Jack Staff. He was fighting Jack Staff.
That was like a one-page appearance.
Yeah. I think he had one line of dialogue.
Wasn't he controlling some giant monster or something?
Yeah, and
that's
then he
the one
comes
he
with his
reduces.
little remote control and makes them small, and it's like, sorry guys, I'll see you later. Rich had this whole thing written, like, of a motivation for this guy to be pissed off. But I was like, we gotta just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Well, it's a
Yeah,
backup.
these little
I mean,
backups.
you only got like 8 pages, so yeah, you have to.
It is, yeah.
That's the.
We barely had enough time to like have him fight anybody.
That's
If Rich wants to share the story, I'm sure you guys will like it. He spent time on it, research and everything, but
It's
well written.
Oh, he's
That's
one of those writers.
But
Those usually aren't the kind of scripts that he gives me. It's usually very Marvel method.
It's just hard to write like a backup like that. You want to have 2 pages of fighting, right?
Right.
And then it
Minimum.
doesn't leave you much to do anything else. So you gotta like really economize your space.
Well, that was always the big challenge back in the Super Freaks, is that we only had like 5 pages each, and you really had to economize.
Right.
Well,
You
just
gotta do like condensed storytelling. And just get to the basic stuff and the most important things and get through it.
it really like that's the beauty of a short story, is it truly cuts the fat. Like it's like every single panel counts.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you guys did an absolutely fantastic job, because it's like, what? It's a 5-pager?
I think it's 8, 1, 3, 5,
7.
7.
It's beefy.
pages.
I'm just saying it's beefy. I think
Yeah,
you guys
there's a
did
lot
really
going
good
on.
job. Yep. I think you did a great job.
That was one of the goals, is I wanted it to feel like it fits in, and that we have read Savage Dragon before, and we know who some of these characters are.
No, it's got like Raven said, it's got like everything you want in a backup. I like, for longtime fans, it's got the cool little Easter egg, wink, wink callbacks. It's got cool reoccurring characters. It's got new characters that are kind of fun to look at. It
You'll never
adds
see them
to
again.
the story. Yeah, but who cares? They're funny. The names are even more hilarious. No, I'm with Raven. These are the kind of backups I want to see. I want to see backups. If they're going to be like drawn and written by anyone, it's got to be like a fan that knows like the insider stuff.
That's all I can hope for. Is that the fans like it,
10 out of 10. I mean, absolutely 10 out of 10. And it took an issue that was really pretty good, and it made it a great issue.
Yep.
Because again, that the main story absolutely delivered, and then you get to this backup and it absolutely delivers. You flip to the back cover. The back cover is Don Simpson. It's just like, goddamn, dude, this was. What's funny is I shit on the. I'm so glad I didn't have to record that episode. I shit on the wedding issue so hard because it dropped the ball, and it was such a disappointment in a lot of ways. But like, this issue is everything you could want from Savage Dragon. Like, it totally, like, 180, like, I was like, okay, dude, like, that's the thing, is a bad issue of Savage Dragon is a fluke. There's, like, way more good ones than bad ones. So,
This one definitely felt like a return to form.
hell yes.
And it's nice to be sandwiched in between, like, a nice dragon story and a Megaton Man
Yeah,
pinup.
and a classic. Like that's such a
Yeah.
classic matchup.
The only problem is, like, when I tell people, like, go buy the new Savage Dragon, I've got a story in it, they're going to read it like, is this cum? Is this
Yeah,
woman
it's
covered
true.
in cum?
That's true. It's like,
I'm like, nah, baby, that's ice cream.
Spilled milkshakes.
Yeah, and I'll send them to this podcast, this episode. I'm like, you can hear me clearly say that it's ice cream.
Right?
No, I'm very happy that I'm in this issue. This is a real good one to be in.
Yeah, dude. Is this your second backup?
Yes.
In all these years?
First one I think was 207 or something. It was a while ago.
yeah.
I know Eric used to listen. I don't know if he listens anymore, but like
I wouldn't if I were him.
But if he does, I'm saying if there's any hope in this world that like the main man hears this shit, is like, dude, more Mark Welser and Rich Woodall backups. Next time you need to fill 100 pages, call these lads back. Call them back. Get him in 275. Get him in 300.
Hey,
I'm ready for it.
he ran out of the megaton stuff, so he's gonna need some filler there.
It's gonna need new material.
Yeah. That cursed new material.
Dude, I gotta say, the Don Simpson pinup, that's a commission from Juan, right? Or is that something new?
I know that Juan got a Dragon Megaton Man commission. I don't know if it's the same one or not.
I
thought it was
2022.
too.
I love the Wooies as big as me this time, because when they first fought, it was like Savage Dragon was still in the miniseries. He was like small.
Yeah.
How did Don Simpson, of all people, get the Finn wrong?
And it's easy to do.
How though? How he knows Dragon? It's not like he
I
doesn't
mean,
know.
to be fair, the era of
Might
that
not care.
the era
Oh, I know he doesn't.
the era of that Megaton crossover, Dragon's Finn was very inconsistent, even in the comic.
Okay, I'll let it
It's
go.
possible he went back and referenced his own issue.
Dude, it does say it's a 90s grudge match. So it's all good. It could be 90s Dragon.
And it's nice that we were able to identify the artist of the pinup on this issue. Because poor Ryan Alexander Tanner was very upset that nobody could read his signature. Didn't know who he was when we did our last episode.
Yeah, it's our fault for not having the letters pages. I'm sure it was written there.
So Ryan Alexander Tanner, which is a name that I've committed to memory, and I'm not reading off my phone. We apologize.
You guys need to get your shit together. I don't know what the fuck was happening while I was gone, but it sounds like a shit show.
It
Yeah.
was gallivanting, a lot of gallivanting.
Well, it's time to scrape the crust off this shit sandwich. We're getting serious, okay?
All right, this is my last episode. Thanks, guys.
So I'm looking at the Savage Dragon Megaton Man crossover issue, and Dragon's Fin is exactly like that on the cover.
Oh,
So you're saying Dawn referenced the
Yeah.
I'm sure they're on the same kind of trash pile.
This was a commission for Ryan Balcom.
Ah.
And
I was looking it up. I was trying to find it.
Don turned it into a poster too, which I bought at Terrificon last year, which I have not found any place to hang up yet. I don't
See, I
don't usually buy posters.
I appreciate that, like, Dawn did a commission that was good enough to be used as a poster or a thing. Like, some guys, they'll do these commissions and they're kind of shabby.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, clearly Dawn's doing his damn thing in this one. So, hell yeah, dude.
Well,
Always good to see Dawn Simpson in there.
always, Don is a treasure. I'm looking very forward to not only his omnibus collections for Megaton Man, so I can revisit those, but apparently they're doing a... Craig, we should probably talk about this. I mean, it's not really a big deal, but there's that Big Bang Comics Kickstarter. You apparently got your book?
I haven't got it yet, but it's coming.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you posted about it. All right, but apparently they're doing another one, and it's based on
I got the
Megaton
PDF
Man.
of it right now.
So yeah, there's going to be a Megaton Man similar style fan book endorsed by Don Simpson.
Yeah, he's very active.
He is.
In helping out all the creators and stuff that are working on stories there. And he's doing a couple of new stories himself for that book.
He's doing like a couple of intro pages and yeah.
He's got something with the Night Watchman, I think, is for that book.
Yeah, he's actually approving all the stories too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not really know the circumstances of the Big Bang book. Like, was Gary involved in its editing, or?
I don't know how much he was involved, but he was looking on at least. Like, I don't know, like, if he was, like, okaying things or not okaying things, but, yeah.
Very cool. So, I think we got a good one in the bag here, guys. I think that about wraps it up. Next issue solicitation. I did not even think to find that. Hold on.
You mean to say, on the next issue of Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon 269. Malcolm Dragon's team is assembled as the SOS West goes into action against the scourges of the Seven Seas, the Vicious Fishes.
Is that what it actually says?
That's exactly what it
Who
says.
the fuck are the Vicious Fishes?
This is the first time you're hearing this?
Yeah, actually, I don't think I ever read the solicitation on that one.
Beautiful cover. We get to see the twins, like both of them, behind Malcolm and Angel as they like tackle the hands of an ugly. It's awesome. 269. Look it up.
Nice.
Do you think the Vicious Fishes are behind the Super Juice?
I've got an even better question for you. We've got twins.
All right, fuck me then, I guess. Go ahead, Ruben. I guess I'm done.
No. This is issue 269, and we got twins on the cover. Uh-oh. Do you think we're going to see 269s in this issue?
Oh, you know what? That was a much better question.
I'm sorry, dude.
I'm sorry I was mean to you. No, I apologize.
I'm sorry, dude.
You were right to do that.
269.
That's perfect.
Does Erik have the willpower to resist that joke?
If he is listening to this, he's going to redraw that page right now and make sure that it happens. He's erasing right now. He's like, damn it! Why did I think of that?
Well, I guess I got to, you know.
Too late now.
No, I can't wait to see the Vicious Fishes. They're the scourges of the Seven Seas, don't you know?
I remember hearing that recently about them.
Yeah, it's all anybody in the West can talk about.
Hopefully Jimbo's a member.
Oh, we're never going to see Jimbo.
No, we're not.
It's okay to never give up hope. And annoy everyone around you.
There should be some good backups coming up in like that issue and on other ones too, right? Because I know a bunch of people, I'm sure, did some for 267 that didn't run.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah?
I assume. That's what I'm assuming, because I know ours was supposed to run in there, and he's like, I'm just going to go ahead with this Megaton stuff. So I'm assuming that there are other stories that he's got banked.
I don't know. My assumption was, and this was based on nothing, is that he didn't have that much stuff to print, and so he ran all the Vanguards instead and bumped you because the page counts didn't line up right.
Am I wrong? But isn't there a Greta Gearbox story floating somewhere or something that?
Yes.
Keep mentioning this Greta Gearbox story that I thought had an artist.
Yeah, and then something happened and like he's just disappeared, and I'm just like, bro, throw it my way. I'll draw that Greta Gearbox back up for free 99.
Greta Gearbox disappearing from the book is one of the most annoying things to me because she was such a good design and potential character, and now because of whatever this is, she's just gone. Look, I just want her and Walter to like team up and beat up people. That's all I want.
That's fantastic. I support that.
I'm just saying, we can't be the only people that finished a story and then didn't make it in the book. There's got to be more.
Okay.
Hopefully. I'm not saying that because I have secret information. I have a hunch.
This sounds like he has secret information, fellas.
I really don't, but I got to imagine other people drew a bunch of cool shit, right?
I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know either. I got nothing. No insight.
Right. Well, if I'm wrong, then that's fine. I'll eat my hat.
Okay. I've seen it. It's pretty big.
I'm wearing it right now. My hat.
Yeah.
I bet you I know what kind of hat you're wearing.
It doesn't matter what kind of hat. It's a cool hat.
So, thanks for listening, everyone. You, of course, can always find us at savagefincast.com, and you can email us your questions, your comments, your corrections, and your FINteresting Conversation responses to savagefincast@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube and iTunes. And I guess now YouTube Music, which sucks and I hate. Don't recommend it, but it's there.
What an endorsement.
It forgets where you are in your freaking podcast. It's like the one thing a podcast app should do.
There's a reason this isn't under Killadelphia.
Yeah. I'm not thrilled about the Google podcast app going away at all.
Oh, YouTube.
Because Google owns YouTube, so they got to 6-6 synergize.
Ugh.
Anyway, enough of that. So thanks for listening, everyone. Have a good one.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Welcome back, Raven.
Thanks,
oh, good.
bro.
Someone finally said it.